Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Yo soy Antonio, que pasta amigo, pasta, basta, 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 pasta, basta, basta. Very interesting. Interesting stuff. The winds of change, they are a-blowing. And this is interesting. I'm not going to lie to you. This is an interesting time as we welcome you to the Thursday edition. Mike Monaco coming up, bottom of the hour. He's my guy. Get used to him. That's my boy right there. That's my paisan. Chris Burke. Here's the order of Italians in this town, right? Or in my orb, anyway. Burke's an Italian. I don't know if you knew that. Burke's mom is she's what we call a 100%er. So Burke's mom's, she keeps it 100. She's what you call a 100%er, so that makes Burke a 50%er. Tony Vitello is what you call a 100%er, but he's got a team that's about a 40%er, so that knocks him down a rung. I'm pretty fired up, focused, and prepared. What's interesting today, ladies and gentlemen, is that a week ago, people were really blasting Barnes because they're not getting anybody. Michigan's getting this kid. North Carolina's getting, Tennessee's getting everybody they want. How you like those apples? How do you like those apples? How do you like those apples? And so, Tennessee's operating as a serious operator in the transfer portal. Really getting it done. Just a masterclass by the Vols and the way they've been able to maneuver around this thing. And we're going to talk about that. Now, I got to tell you, I'm hearing things because the thing you have to understand about what's going on in the transfer portal right now is the agents are running this thing. Okay? The agents are absolutely running this deal. I wonder sometimes if the kids think that they work for the agents instead of the agents working for the kids. Me and Maury were talking about that today. They're just moving these kids around like chess pieces. I heard a great one this morning from one of my sources about the transfer portal. So there's a big man in the Big 12. Tennessee may or may not be involved with this big man. He's got an assistant coach that if you want to take this kid, you got to give him $500,000. That's the kind of stuff going on. Let me give you the latest and greatest as I know it. And then Mike Monaco is going to join us, who fires me up, focuses me, and prepares me. Matt Diskin has been interfacing with Tony Vitello the last couple of nights. What did, Vitello's Brian Hartman's here. Did Matt Dixon bring Vitello any luck in Cincinnati? In your opinion, Bri?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But he might bring Chase Burns some luck though later this afternoon.
You think if Burns struggles? You think if Burns struggles, Bry? You think if Burns struggles, Bry, Tony will go out there and get him, which is one of your great lines today in our group chat?
He might find himself taking a step or two towards the mound and then realizing before he gets out of the dugout that I can't do that anymore.
Reflex. The reflex. Da-na-na-na-na. Gonna go out and reflex. Gonna go out and get him. What's funny about Chase Burns is he went to Wake to develop as a starting pitcher, but his stuff today is almost identical as it was a freshman. His pitch usage, when you look at Chase Burns, through 3 games, he's 1-1, 20-26 pitch usage. He's pretty much the same pitcher. Still throwing 93% fastballs and sliders. 99% versus right-hand hitters. All that talk about him developing other pitches. But I digress. The pitching lab, I don't know. I still think there's a damn good pitcher in there in Chase Burns. Obviously, he's in a major league rotation. Matt, you've seen Tony Vitello before we get into the portal. You've seen Tony Vitello's act up close and personal. That team he left for. You think, Matt, he knew that team was that paltry when he left? Because they got nothing for you, honey. And the Wolves are starting to howl on poor Tony.
No, probably didn't realize they were going to be this bad offensively when he took the job. But I don't know how much of that's on him. None of it is. He's just kind of got an average MLB team that is off to a really bad start.
That's exactly right. And really, this is his worst nightmare for him. This is his worst nightmare. Kind of like what Kentucky's doing in the transfer portal right now. Worst nightmare. Matt, up close and personal, his ball club. I mean, are they like a 70-win team, Matt? That's what they look like to me. It's like Tony's going to lose 90 or so games this year. I don't know how that's going to wear on Tone.
Well, I don't think they're going on them very well right now. They'll probably stretch out somewhere between 75 and 80 wins, if I had to guess by the end of it. But that's not what he's used to at all.
Are you at Game 3, Matt?
Yes. Yeah,
oh,
you can probably hear
it's unbelievable.
Right outside the Reds team shop. I mean,
I love it out there.
My guy Drew Gilbert got called up for yesterday's game, which was really cool.
Yes.
Chase Burns is going today, so I'm really kind of curious to see how he pitches against Tony and Frank's team.
Yes.
Could kind of go one of two ways.
Yeah, that's like a mid-afternoon start, so a noonish type. One of those getaway games, classic getaway games. But this is fun. This is fun. So Matt's taking advantage of that. Okay. So Tony Vols, as the world turns, Tennessee in the transfer portal. I don't know how to tell you this, but it looks today like they're in incredible shape. Obviously, yesterday. And if you've been following us, how do I say this? We've been pretty much nailing it. I mean, you don't always nail it. I mean, I've had good days and bad days. But this thing that is going on right now, and the way they're working this thing, kind of keeping my mouth shut and just sort of being privy to some of this stuff and seeing it come to fruition and going, geez, man. Like me and Maury were talking today. I mean, the way they are doing what they're doing and the way they've kind of moved the pieces around. I got to tell you, I'm pretty impressed. And those of you who listen to me know I'm kind of hard to impress. Now, I'm also impressed by Danny White. Baghdad Dan. Dr. Dement. Quite simply, Rick Barnes and his staff are on a roll right now. Rick Barnes and his staff are on a roll, and you can see the picture coming into view. And really, the Jalen Harrelson piece is going to be seen as a very important commitment through time as we think about this class and its formation. And he's a very good player. It's not like you're, taking somebody to camp. He's a very good player. Ask Kentucky if they would take Jalen Harrison right now over what they're getting, which is swing and a miss, strike one, swing and a miss, strike two, swing and a miss, strike three, you're out. Swing and a miss, strike one. Looks like the San Francisco Giants at the plate. And so here's what I'm hearing about Juke Harris. I told you last week, and I wrote Monday, that I'll tell you when to worry about Juke Harris. And I'm not worried at all. As I did my homework last night to put the blog together, I started to get the vibe of where these services are getting that they're crystal balling this kid to Tennessee, or we believe he's going to Tennessee. I'm here to tell you it'll be a major upset if that guy doesn't end up here. Like Georgia State beating the Vols in Knoxville kind of upset. Like a 15-2 Nega Dave in the tournament. But here's the thing. That's not all. Because in-state prospect Chris Washington, top 50 member of the 2026 freshman class, is expected to visit today. And I'll just tell you this. I think he's committing. I think they're getting him today. Now, he's sort of an add-on. You go Juke Harris, and you pair him with Jalen Harrelson, and then we're going to call these guys Triple H. Because next on the mic is a combo guard from VCU who single-handedly knocked North Carolina out of the tournament. And Tennessee is burn out the day, burn out the night. They're burning for you, Terrence Hill. And I told you on the front end of this thing that these guys have lots and lots of money to spend. They're planning on throwing it around. They are totally a heavyweight in the sport right now. Matt, how weird is it for you? How weird is it for you, Matt, to think about Tennessee in this light being a total heavyweight, like literally flexing on the rest of the league right now? And Matt, you know the wild card they have up their sleeve. You've been briefed on that. But the wild card coming to fruition or not, Matt, this is impressive what they're doing. You at Great American Ballpark.
Yeah, it's really cool that Tennessee's kind of one of the elite teams, or really programs, not teams, just programs in college basketball. And it's a credit to Rick Barnes, who has not only thrived at Tennessee, but is thriving in this new era. It's kind of rejuvenated him, it feels like, which is really cool. Never thought he would be kind of one of the coaches that could thrive in this, but he is, and if you can get home with a few more guys, it sets you up for another second weekend run in the tournament and possibly even higher expectations than that. So no, it's been amazing. I never thought it would be like this, especially in this era with this coach.
Yep, and you hear Matt Jones there. It's an emergency situation up at Kentucky. You can hear Matt Jones in the background there.
Matt Jones has season tickets and goes to some Reds games. Did you run into him by the chance?
Hey, you're Matt Dixon.
I have not, and I hope I don't.
Have you seen our class?
There's probably been 20 or 25 Tennessee fans at each of these games. It's really kind of cool to see. Obviously here for Vitello, and we ran into his parents last night after the game. But we've seen probably 20 to 25 people in Tennessee gear at all three of these games so far. It's really, really kind of fun, which is probably a weird thing for an opposing manager in Major League Baseball, but it's, that's who Vitello is and was for Tennessee.
Hey, Matt, something I want to talk to you about as the show unfolds, but I'm going to ask you right now. This thing with Nate Ament is kind of a curiosity. I'm not going to lie. I do think there's a possibility in poking around on this that if Tennessee strikes out with point guard 1, maybe point guard 2, and maybe point guard 3, I do think they have a hierarchy of starting guards that aren't in the portal that they want. Now, they've been in contact with point guard 1, the target, that agent, for months now to get this thing to the finish line. This is not some kind of ad hoc, we'll make it up on the spot type deal, but it's just a matter of, is the kid going to do it? And if he does it, I'm telling you, it's going to register on the seismograph. It is going to, because a lot of people aren't going to see it coming, and it's going to register on the seismograph. But, Matt, if you have a chance to get point guard 1 or Nate Ament, let's say you add this Hill kid, Terrence Hill, with what you already have. And let's say you're under the assumption that you're going to land Juke Harris, which a lot of people think Tennessee is going to land Juke Harris. I think they're in great shape for him. Matt, what are you doing? Are you adding point guard 1 or are you adding Nate Ament? If I gave you a choice. Brian and I were kind of wrestling with this yesterday, Jim Cornette. What do you think there, Matt?
Well, it's actually a really fascinating kind of debate. I'm not sure there's actually a wrong answer to it because they're both just high level players. I'd have to think about the guys they're bringing in a little bit more because you ultimately you do need kind of a facilitator and true point guard, I think, to win at the highest level in the sport. But I mean, I don't think there's a wrong answer there. I think if you get Ament back, which would be incredible, another year in the strength program to kind of develop some of that core strength and hopefully durability. I mean, he could easily be a 25-point-a-game guy he could lead the country in scoring. That's how much of a talent and mismatch he is at this level. But, I mean, that elite point guard that can carry you, I think is needed, but either one, I think if you could get either of them, I wouldn't be picky, kind of a non-committal answer, but really I think you can build a team around either one, to be honest.
I agree with that because I think a healthy Ament could play point guard for you, which is really stupid to say out loud, but he could do it a bunch. We saw it last year. Imagine him with the game slowed down, a little more comfortable. I thought about it overnight. And I thought, those are first world problems because I'm telling you something. Point guard 1 can play. Point guard 1 can play. Point guard 1 could win Player of the Year in the country. Comes here next year. Point guard 1. But I like it. Bino's right. This is like putting together a fantasy team. And Bino, if you're listening right now, you're in my fantasy. Who did Dewey Warren say that to, which was one of the great lines of all time, Bri? You're in my fantasy. Who was it? Do you remember? It was that guy that played at Alabama that was at Seattle at the time at running back.
Oh, Alexander.
Yeah, Alshon Alexander. Bino, if you're
Alexander.
Bino, if you're listening, you're in my fantasy. And that fantasy will come true tomorrow. That fantasy, Bino, will come true tomorrow at Calhoun's on the River, where we be. So, we're pretty fired up. We're pretty focused and prepared. Point guard 1, Heupels, Razor said should be in all our fantasies. We do have a piece of breaking news here from Watching Sisters with Bill. Watching Sisters with Bill on YouTube is reporting that I heard point guard was coming here this weekend. Well, there's breaking news. Who knew? Who knew? 865-200-5402. East Tennessee said Harrelson's way bigger signing than I think people realize. I agree with you, brother. I think he could be an all-league player. I was talking with Maury about him today. Maury said somehow you're getting a guy that's way underrated who was a McDonald's All-American last year who did nothing but show you that he could really play. Me and Mo were talking about it today. Mo's like, he said their class is so good right now, that feels like almost an add-on. And that guy's not an add-on. That guy's a very good player. I'm telling you, here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. You go Harrelson. You go Jukaris. The Triple H's, okay? Harrelson, Jukaris. And you add me this Hill guy. And you throw that kid from Nashville in as a sweetener. That's the best week of recruiting Tennessee's ever done in their lives. That's a royal flush right there. You throw point guard 1 in on top of that. Shh. I mean, you got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. And I'll tell you what's crazy. Was my faith kind of wavering Friday when I was on here last week? Yeah, a little bit. Even though I was told, hey, look, kind of hang in here. This thing's going to be a while. Hang in. I was getting all sucked in by the negative emotion of the moment, you know? We have a lot to talk about here. Very little time to get there. On the other side, a curveball for you. A real superstar of broadcasting who does all these sports. I mean, this guy does everything. Does tennis. He does Major League Baseball. He does UT. You've seen him do UT baseball. I think the first time I saw him, he was like in his mid-20s doing UT baseball. I mean, this guy is he's good looking. He's Italian. He's from Boston. He's calling the NHL playoffs this weekend. I kind of have a fanboy crush on him. I think he's the next Bob Costas, personally. Nega Dave said his faith is still wavering. You don't say, Dave. Dave, you're our doubting Thomas of our audience. You're our doubting Thomas. Come over here, son. Let me show you my sides. Dave is the doubting Thomas of the show. Even when it's right in front of Dave, he won't see it. Which I can appreciate. And Dave, you're also, how do I put this gently and in mixed company? You're a human hemorrhoid. I don't know what to tell you. But you need What do you put on hemorrhoids, Brian? What's that stuff you use on hemorrhoids? What's the product? We all go and get it when they flare up. The great Mike Monaco is going to join on the other side. You bow your head when you say thy name. And I want to ask him about working with Burke, what it's like to be next to Burke when Burke has that medium shirt on and he's flashing those guns. And does that distract Monaco? Does that distract Monaco? What's the product called, Brian, you put on hemorrhoids, or Matt? What's that stuff called? Preparation H is one of them, and then there's something else you put on there. Do you guys know? All right, let me continue. Dave, you are a festering hemorrhoid, Dave. I love you after this. Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires. Just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Fan Run Radio, where Big Orange Country comes to talk sports. Start your morning off with your daily dose of talk sports with John Reed and Cody McClure from 8 to 11. Then it's Tony Basilio from 11 to 1. The Playbook with William Pattison from 1 to 3. And The Drive from 3 to 6. It's 10 hours of hard-hitting local sports radio every day.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Gotta love this time of the year. Hoops here, home runs over there, and you've got to get your Tennessee on. And there's only one place, the best place to shop for your officially licensed Tennessee volunteer gear, Alumni Hall. Hands down, the best store for Vol fans. They've got the latest and greatest apparel for the entire family. Hats, man cave items, decor, and more. Get your Vols grill cover, a plate for your burgers, and of course, that chef's apron for all that outdoor grilling this spring. And accrue those rewards and watch your balance grow online or on the app. We'll see you at Alumni Hall and alumnihall.com and G to the B to the O, Alumni Hall.
Nothing reminds you of how much you rely on your air conditioner like the first really hot day in East Tennessee. Schedule Pipe Wrench Home Services' $79 seasonal tune-up now before the heat sets in. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune your HVAC system to help it run efficiently and reliably while reducing the risk of breakdowns when you need it most. And while we're there, we can also recommend ways to improve your indoor air quality for cleaner, healthier air throughout your home. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when comfort matters most. Schedule your $79 seasonal tune-up today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Offer valid on standard systems only. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
It's baseball time in Knoxville. Your Knoxville Smokies are back in action and back home next week. Join us for a week packed full of fun with All-You-Can-Eat Wednesday, our Knox Vegas Thirsty Thursday with half-off draft beers. Come dance with the Smokies and fireworks on Saturday, and we're halfway to Halloween on Sunday. Woo! What a week! Reserve your seats now at SmokiesBaseball.com. Knoxville Smokies!
TB back with you. It is unbelievable, Andy. I am so fired up. I am so focused, and I'm so prepared. I'm telling you, this guy here, and it's the highest compliment I could give somebody. I think this dude's like a young Bob Costas. I really do. If this guy were a stock, I'd buy as much as him as humanly possible. First of all, he's a damn good guy. Secondly, he can do every sport on television like it's nothing. And he's going to do the NHL playoffs this weekend. And the excellence of execution that is Mike Monaco now joins your Tony Basilio show. And Chris Burke blessed me with introducing me to him. And, man, I just love my man Mike Monaco. Que pasa, amigo? How we doing?
Tony, normally I would say checks in the mail if someone were to say something as exceedingly kind as that and unwarranted. But in this case, that was so nice of you that I think it's a full-on direct deposit or a wire transfer that I owe you. So thank you.
Well,
that is way too kind. It was my pleasure, seriously. It was my pleasure to meet you. What was that, 2 weekends ago at Calhoun's, to sit and have lunch with you. To learn the world of your show firsthand was pretty cool. And I know the way Berkey talks about you. You know what I think of Berkey. I hold him truly in the highest regard of anyone I've been able to work with and now become good friends with. So that was really cool, and it's a pleasure to be on the show. All
right, let's talk about Burke for a second, because Burke's following you. Generally, what we do is the headliner, he going to play after that opening act. Now, if I'd have known this, we'd have had Berkey on like 10:55, before we start the show. We would have had him on like as a dark match if I'd have known that we were going to do it this way. But Berkey's going to follow you. So we've kind of just for the listener, I want the listener to know, we've reoriented things here. Berkey is, how do I put this? He's interesting. So when you're doing games next to him and he's wearing that schmedium shirt that he had on down there at Calhoun's, does it distract you when he starts flashing the guns?
I've been accused of wearing the same, so it's not my place to say on the shirts. I will say this. This man has the handheld flossers, like the individual flossers, ready to floss his teeth at a moment's notice before a pregame meal when we go on the air. It's like every tooth is going to be picked clean. It's amazing. It's one of the great talents of anyone I work with. We have fun in the booth. And that weekend, it was a 3-man booth with Berkey and with Kyle Peterson. Yep. And I say this to our bosses. I said it to you at Calhoun's. I'll say it to anyone who will listen. For me, like of all the sports I do, of all the people I work with, sitting in a 3-man booth with Kyle and Chris is as fun as anything I do in the course of a year. Any sport. It's incredible. And it's their knowledge, but really it's their personalities, their curiosities, and like all of us, the little idiosyncrasies we have, Berkey calling me out if I say something wrong.
Yeah.
And then Kyle going back and forth. Like, it's just incredible. The man is fit. The man motivates me to try to stay fit when we're on the road. Yep. And the guns are always looking good.
The thing about both Chris and Kyle, when you hear those guys too, is when I'm listening to them, I learn a lot of baseball. I know you're kind of a baseball nut yourself. You grew up in Boston. Mm-hmm. We were talking about how at a young age you've gotten the opportunity to be a fill-in broadcaster for the Red Sox. You've had a chance to do some games in Fenway. How many sports on the national level? Because you really paid your dues in the bus leagues in baseball. How many sports on the national level have you had a chance to call now?
So it's 5 that I'm currently calling, and then previously, did stuff like volleyball or lacrosse, softball. So maybe probably close to like 10 sports that I've done at ESPN, but currently it's 5. It's baseball, basketball, football. Hockey then was kind of the newer one that I added about 4 years ago. And then tennis in the last 2 years is the real new one that I've added to be sport number 5.
And you did like for tennis, you've done open stuff. What have you done in tennis?
Yeah, it's interesting because at ESPN we only have the rights to 3 events.
Oh wow!
They just happen to be 3 of the Grand Slams.
Yeah.
So every year it's Wimbledon, U.S. Open, Australian Open. Which the first time I ever went to a tennis event in my life happened to be Wimbledon. So needless to say, I felt out of place, and to an extent still do, but trying to chip away at it, learn, and lean on the analysts around you to just try to learn the sport. Like you said, I compare that to for me for baseball. Not that I'm some baseball expert, KP and Burke have forgotten more than I'll know about baseball, but I spent 5 years in minor league baseball.
Yeah.
I've been around it so much, and yeah, like you said, bus rides to East Lake, Ohio, and everyone's getting bed bugs at the Red Roof Inn. You've lived some baseball lives compared to some of the experience I have in other sports. From your perspective, right? And you're like I love all sports. Like I love watching people compete. I love thinking about the athletes and just the amount of work you put in to do what you're doing, and how some of these coaches are lifers, and just all that stuff just kind of fascinates me. And it seems like we were sort of like-minded when we were talking. So my question for you is, of all those sports, what is the one where, if you could just share with the listener, where those athletes are, say, most down to earth, just most likely just to have a conversation with you? I think baseball, and I would say hockey too. Baseball, because I think the way the schedule is, and I think the way failure is baked into the sport, I think you get so much humility in baseball because, you might be a preseason All-American, you might be in an 0 for 20, And so I think just by nature, like, the game grounds you. And then the fact that you're doing it every single day, I think just lends itself to conversationalists. And the coaches are this way too, whether it's pro ball, especially in college baseball. We got some really good human beings in the college game. And then I would say hockey too. Like hockey, I don't know. I think the game is so hard, and you have to be such a team player. Like you're just kind of wired to, again, have some humility to you and have some normalcy and some decency to you. So I would say those are the two big ones that jump out to me. And the hockey guys are total nuts, right? But they're decent. They're just, they're like, I don't know. A lot of those kids come from farms in Canada, or they come up the hard way in some of these European countries, and the parents sacrifice everything to get them there because rink time's expensive. I mean, a few of the kids, are sort of wealthy kids, but for the most part, there's a lot of sacrifice made in that sport. It seems like those people stay grounded. All right, so NHL playoffs, who you on this weekend? Who you doing? We don't know for sure yet. We're 2 days away from the start of the playoffs.
What?
The league has not yet announced.
What?
The league has not yet announced. I'll give you the scoop.
Yeah.
My guess is that I'm headed to Buffalo. Bruins Sabres. I don't know if game 1 will be Saturday or Sunday. That's my speculation. I could be wrong. I could be in Carolina to see Ottawa and Carolina instead. But I think it'll be Bruins Sabres. That's cool. I'm from Boston, and Buffalo hasn't had playoff hockey in 14 years, so that place is going to be absolutely berserk. If so, okay. So I want to explain to the living listener what they've done here, because I would really hope whenever that game is on,
get a chance to flip that thing on at the very beginning, because I'm going to paint a picture for you. They went through 15 lost years like we did in football. And this year, they began their season in such a poor fashion that they fired their general manager in early December. And see, I know this because they did it right before they played the Flyers. And they went out and they beat the Flyers like they were mad at them that night, okay? I mean, they beat them every way, shape, and form. And from there, they took off and had a couple of, and I'm not kidding you here, like 10 or 11 game unbeaten streaks. They just went nuts. And did they end up with the top record in the conference, or did Tampa end up getting that from them at the end?
So they did. They won the Atlantic Division. Yeah, they got it. They're behind Carolina in the conference, but they're like the division champion. So that's how they end up with Boston, a wild card team.
Yeah, it's that's the most out of nowhere thing I think I've seen in sports in a long, long time.
It's crazy. It really is. And to think you have to go from in-season GM firing to, everyone nowadays, they use the word wagon. Oh, Buffalo's a wagon. Well, whatever that means, they're a wagon, Tony. And, I think you're exactly right. The place is going to be crazy. If you got listeners who, not necessarily hockey fans, I would just say playoff hockey, like even if you just flip us on for 5 minutes, give it a chance, the energy you're going to see, the hits you're going to see, the physicality, it's insane. I didn't grow up with hockey as like one of my favorite sports in the world, but I will say that playoff hockey is just different. And the level that these guys go to, the injuries that they play through, it's pretty wild.
I'm thinking about flying up next week with my son and checking out one of the Flyers games, although I think we're going to go to the second round, Mike, because we're getting past. You're going to call the shot here on the air. Let's break a little news. Flyers are getting past the Pittsburgh Penguins, the old, decrepit, broken down. Penguins were picked like last in division. They had a hell of a year. Sidney Crosby's a Hall of Famer. Vinny Malcolm's a Hall of Famer. Malkin, rather. The truth is, though, that's a league. Give me the great goaltender, the better goaltending. It's like guard play in basketball. Give me the better goaltending. Flyers going to win the series.
I love it. I love that call. Here's the roadmap for them to do it, if so. I think it's goaltending, like you said. Pittsburgh made a big goaltending trade in mid-December. So early in the season, they got Edmonton's goalie, this guy Stuart Skinner, who has played a lot in the playoffs, but he hasn't been dominant. And at times it's been questionable in the playoffs. So I think that's one of the ways. And then the other is, Pittsburgh had a bunch of these guys this year that had career years offensively. And in the playoffs, when the game, I was saying this to you before we came on, well, when the game gets tighter, it's harder to score goals in the playoffs. Are they still going to be productive and provide enough offense beyond Sidney Crosby? You know what you're going to get with Sidney Crosby. I mean, the guy's as good as it gets, maybe a top 5 player of all time.
Yes.
But beyond that, do they have enough scoring? So I think that's your roadmap. I love that call. And when you're up in the Northeast, give me a call in the second round and we'll go watch a game.
Bang! The great Mike Monaco. Okay, Mike, on the way out here, I got to ask you this. And I can't believe you don't know the series you're calling. You got to be very nimble to do what you're doing. And you got to get all that, because I know you're going to walk in there super prepared. You're going to have some serious burning the midnight oil, getting familiar with whomever it is you've got to call. But I got to ask you, are you surprised by the hazing that the baseball establishment has put Tony Vitello through, the national media, people in their media out in the Bay Area? And you talk about taking a fork to a knife fight, the team that he has to work with here. Are you surprised by the way he's getting drugged?
You know what? I don't know if I would say I'm surprised. I certainly don't agree with it. I do think, and I loved being around Tony, but I do think he is so sometimes zany in what he says.
Yes.
You guys know this. You lived it for how many years? 8 years. I think it just takes getting adjusting to if you don't know it. But shoot, the thing I would say to any, media members or even Giants fans who don't, totally understand yet what he's all about, like, what do you think? Buster Posey doesn't know what he's doing, And shoot, I would not bet against Tony. Like, I've seen what he can do. I mean, I was just in a $105 million renovated ballpark that is, not only a credit to his, but in large part because of what he built there. Like, I'm not betting against that guy's will and his will and competitiveness to win and his smarts and creativity. And yeah, you don't know where a press conference or a conversation with Tony's going to go and what little sidebar it's going to lead to. And I know I'm not breaking any news.
I love him.
To you guys.
Yeah, I love him.
I do too. It's so fun. We were there for regionals last year, Tony, and he just swung by dinner. Like, KP and I were having dinner the night before the regional started, and he just popped in and sat down for an hour.
How many of those guys do that? Like, hey, Mike, how many of those guys?
Many.
Yeah, not many.
Outside of college baseball, there's maybe no one. Within college baseball, it's not everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a small number of head coaches who will do that. Especially when, your season is at the most pivotal point. You got to get ready for Wake Forest and whoever else it is, So yeah, he's just one of a kind, in terms of the personality, and the quotability. And yeah, I think I would just preach patience, the Aaron Rodgers, spell it out, relax, like, to everyone out there.
But he's not going to get it. He's not going to.
Yeah, I know. That's pro sports for you. But I hope he does, because I'm always going to be a fan of his.
Well, I mean, we just talked about the Buffalo Sabres literally fired a general manager who put a team together that just put the most points on the board in a very tough Eastern Conference compared to the West and the NHL, which is weak by comparison. And shout out to our friends in Nashville who just missed the playoffs. I've had a chance to partake in some playoff hockey in their barn, and they light it up. And in 2017, that's the year my father passed away, in the spring, I'll never forget that run. It watered my soul just to be around all those hockey fans, being outside where they had the 10,000 people outside gathering. Hey, Mike, as you've done some of these events, have you seen that stuff outside in some of these places, like up in Canada? I mean, how next level is that to walk past that or to be a part of that?
A couple years ago, I was in Vancouver in the playoffs, and that might be the loudest, like per person, per capita building that I've been in. It was nuts in the playoffs for Vancouver. They had a little drought. I forget how long. So that was insane. Winnipeg is one of the smaller buildings in the NHL, but they do these whiteouts where everyone's wearing white, and that gets bonkers in there. And then in Edmonton, it feels like truly every single fan, maybe 20,000, whatever it is, it feels like every single one, Tony, is wearing a Oilers sweater, like an Oilers jersey. It's different. And they, up in Edmonton in the playoffs, the guy who sings the national anthem, he goes into the stands. And so he just goes in among fans and is singing the national anthem with his microphone in the stands before a game. It's pretty crazy to see playoff hockey. But seriously, I think Buffalo, if that is indeed where I am, I think that's going to be as good as any atmosphere I've seen.
Mike Monaco, you're the man. I cannot wait to see what you're calling it. Whatever you're calling, I'm watching. And they're popping for you over on our YouTube feed. They're popping for Monaco right now, so you're getting the seal of approval from the listening audience. On the way out, this college baseball thing, I don't know if you ever sit around like late at night like me when you're bored and go, what in the world is going on in that sport? That Tennessee team you saw against LSU that couldn't get out of their own way went to Mississippi State and swept them. I mean, was that on your sing? And never trailed in the series. You talk about a sport that makes zero sense, Mike. It makes zero sense.
It really does. And I think we've been trying to find answers all year, it feels like. I think especially in the SEC, like maybe more so, probably more so than any other conference. And I think it's kind of the weird year, Tony, where like the I don't know I guess there's super teams. You know,
Yeah.
like we had a Tennessee super team in the last 5 years. We had a couple of them.
Sure.
We had an LSU super team with Skeens and Cruz. We had a Wake Forest super team. I think it might just be kind of a different year where the super teams are not your traditional powerhouses. It's UCLA. Well, shoot. I mean, they're on the West Coast. You know, we're not covering their games. It doesn't feel like, it doesn't feel like they're in the national spotlight as much.
Yep.
And that's probably wrong. And then Georgia Tech, like, you know, they haven't even been out of a regional since 2006. It's a really proud program, and they're loaded. But I think maybe that's a little bit why, okay, we're a little bit slower to say, hey, these are the anointed teams that are the absolute powers. But I can't make sense of the SEC. No, I can't. I told you this, like, I'm a believer in Tennessee. I'm a big-time believer in Josh Helander. And yet still, like, who would have had that sweep on the cards last weekend? But hey, what a bounce back for them. It's going to be crazy. I mean, what's LSU going to do now? Like, they're in a tough spot. Vandy's in a tough spot. I can't wait. I cannot wait to do playoff baseball, regional supers, Omaha. It's going to be incredible, like always.
And you're going to toggle between all these sports and do it with the greatest of ease. You blow my mind, man. You're the wonderkind, you know?
Far from it. I'm a big sports fan. I go where they tell me to, and I'm lucky to be involved in a bunch of different sports. But there's something special about college athletics, that's for sure.
You're the man, Mike Monaco. Enjoy the call this weekend, and happy returns. Please come back and visit with us, and much love to you, my paisan.
Yes, from the old country, Tony, from one to another. Truly my pleasure. Thanks for the invite, and let's do it again.
Have a doc good, and thank you, my brother.
See you.
The great Mike Monaco, one more time, who, Brian, when I invited him on, he said, Basilio, I've been listening to the show some. He said, Burke got me kind of hooked into it. He heard Titans-Bills soliloquy the other day in the third hour, Matt, and he was wondering what in the world he was listening to. I mean, how do you even describe that to somebody when they hear a Titans-Bill, a random Bill soliloquy on whatever it is he's soliloquizing? And then Brian clapping at him for what he's listening to. He wanted an apology out of you yesterday, Bri. I mean, he wanted an apology. Can you imagine what's going through the guy's mind when he's listening to the crazy Bill? At any rate.
He accused Bino of... Never mind.
No, we're not.
We'll bring that up.
That thing he did with Bino, for the new listener, Titans Bill had a thing. Matt, do you remember the gist of it a couple years ago? Because it was out of nowhere. Okay, let me see if I can put the pieces together. We had a birthday party celebration for Bill, because he's one of the great special members of our audience. And we were celebrating his birthday with the great Tom Marine at his Smoothie King location back in the day. And we had the party outside, you know, and I think Tony Vitello brought Blade Tidwell that day to the deal, if I'm not mistaken. And maybe Drew Gilbert. But there were a couple guys there. And Bill calls me like a year and a half later, and he said, I'm mad at Bino. I said, Bill, what are you mad at? He goes, Bino, mate. Do it, Brian. Do your Titans Bill imitation.
Well, Bino said that he accused Jesse's girlfriend of being ugly.
Yeah, he goes, Bino, mate. Let me get my Bill voice here. How you doing, my good Christian? He said, Bino said that Jesse's girlfriend is ugly. I said, Bill, Bino's never said anybody's ugly. Ever. I've never heard him say anything like that. Yes, he did. He comes on the air the next day after I got him talked down and goes full hard on Bino. Full send. Goes in on him. So, all right, here we go. Brian, what do you think of Jesse's new girlfriend? Big Dog in West Tennessee wants to know.
Have not seen, so cannot say.
That Monaco guy is so talented. Madonna me. Do you guys know how hard it is to call hockey? You want to do yourself a favor? Do yourself a favor. Even if you don't even know what hockey is, take the mute button and put your thing on mute and try to call what's in front of you. Just try to describe it. Yeah, I did sound like I was doing the Jukey voice for Bill. I agree with that. Hey, Matt, in your humble opinion, call the shot, Matt, who's sitting in a stadium right now, but I like it. I want the Nat sound. Matt, do you believe the Tennessee Volunteers are getting Juke Harris? In your bones, Matt.
I'm gonna go yes.
Yeah.
No insider info, but reading the context clues, I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, I believe they're getting him too. I also believe they're going to get Terrence Hill. I believe they're going to go Triple H on us, which is so much better than Triple H or his spouse. Stephanie McMahon's going into the Hall of Fame for what? Being related? Being related. She gets to go into the Hall of Fame for being related? And then they're selling a Stephanie McMahon championship belt you can buy for like $2,000. Hey, Matt, could you imagine that? That might be a worse purchase than that door that came out of one of the before getting ready to eat. One of the bathroom stalls, they made a door out of the stall and enclosed it in glass. And somewhere somebody's eating on that. It could be a big dog in West Tennessee. I know he's a big spender. It could be at his house, for all I know. Or maybe Greg in Columbia's house. But they're asking about Jesse's girl. Where can I find a woman like that? Pretty good line, David Speaks. That's a great jam. All right, piece of trivia for you. That was recorded in the LA studio sound. What do they call that thing? Sound City? I think that's what it's called. Where Fleetwood Mac first met. That's where they met. The remnants of Fleetwood Mac after Bob Welch left were in the studio kind of messing around. And Buckingham and Nicks were in there kind of mixing some of their stuff after their first record had come out. Which is really a cool record, by the way. The Buckingham Nicks, that record is really good. But Stevie Nicks is just so talented. I mean, just unbelievable. Songwriting savant. And that's where they met. But the lead guitar break in Jesse's Girl, which kind of makes the song, is played by Neil Giraldo, I'm sorry, who is the husband of the incredible Pat Benatar, who's got an operatic. She can sing like you can't believe. That little girl. I saw them live. You cannot believe that little lady can blow like that. She is unbelievable. But so Rick Springfield's in the studio, and the guy producing the record says, "Hey, this guy over here would like to make a pass at the song." And Springfield's like, no. I got the, Springfield's like a real musician now. He's a craftsman. He can sing, play, can do it all. I mean, people think he's a pretty face because he was on a soap opera in the 80s. But, man, he's really talented. So he says, yeah, give this guy a pass at it. This dude comes in, plugs in, rips off that solo, and Springfield goes like this. That'll play. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. I don't know how those people come up with that stuff, but they just do. We're going to come back on the other side. 865-200-5402. Natural talent. That's like talking to the Monaco guy. You just sit around him and you're like, man, God just kind of blessed you. Look at you. And he is just a humble, good dude. Like, if you see that guy around, that guy's just a good dude. That's why I wanted to bring him on and introduce you to him today. And one of my favorites, Chris Burke. Hey, Bri, is Burke after this? Is Burke after this?
Yes, he is.
Okay. G-Max Tapeworm says, first he puts us through hockey, and now we're doing music talk. But G-Max Tapeworm, we also got some great stuff out of the portal. You got to admit that. You're getting some good information, too. You're getting the news, the weather, traffic, and the sports today. As we're going full service with you. Full service with you. So, 865-200-5402. Burke Italia. Burke Italia. It's an Italian-American day on the program. Maybe I'll tell you what I'll do. Maybe I'll call Tony's cell phone while the game's going on right now, and we'll wish him some moral support live on the air. You think we ought to do that, Bri, or you think Tony wouldn't take that too well if I called him while the game was underway?
Maybe if they're up 5-0. Well, maybe not. Maybe not, because that might jinx it.
All right, we're going to talk with Burke on the other side.
I'd leave that alone. I'd leave that alone, personally.
Darby Allin is the new AEW champion. Are they trying to repel every viewer they have on All Petite Wrestling? What are we doing? Got a little wrestling talk in there. Boy, that Tony Khan, you look up Money Mark in the dictionary, he's staring right at you. He missed this. He could have been an NCAA. He could have been a booster, super booster for one of these teams. Everybody's looking for a money mark as we continue with more after this.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready, because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Got a plumbing or HVAC problem at home? Whether it's an AC that won't cool, a furnace acting up, a clogged drain, or a water heater problem, Pipe Wrench Home Services is ready to help. Right now, when you schedule any HVAC or plumbing repair, your service fee is waived with the completed repair. That means expert help fast without the extra cost just to show up. Our certified technicians will quickly diagnose the issue and provide reliable solutions to make your home comfortable again. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when help matters most. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. Schedule your repair today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Service fee waived with completed HVAC or plumbing repair. Restrictions apply. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm going to hop online and I'm going to get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics. They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama Zizi approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and Zizi.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols.
Basilio here, and my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company. Eric Smith speaks for all of us over on our YouTube chat. Shout out to Eric. 865-200-5402. All right, so here we go. Chris Burke joining. Matt Dixon is live in Cincinnati providing updates. Tony Vols is looking to avoid the sweep. And Chris Burke now joins on the heels of Mike Monaco, just absolutely lighting up the show like the sun in the middle of the day. And I'm going to say this to you, Berkey. Let's admire brilliance, okay? Because in my business, the ability to do multiple things and to be interchangeable with them and not miss a beat, that's Monaco. He makes it look so easy, it's crazy. But you and I were talking about two other guys that are so good that you just take for granted how great they are. And let's start in your sport, because you played at the major league level, and you told me at one time, hitting a Major League Baseball has got to be the hardest thing you can ever do in sports. I mean, it's just, especially in the majors. Berkey, this Shohei Ohtani guy does it in both spots. Is he the greatest player to ever live, kind of by far, Chris Burke?
Yeah, I don't see how you could make an argument about that at this point. I mean, I don't know where they would put him, but he's a top 5 pitcher in the sport, and then he's, 1A or 1B, depending on who you'd ask as top hitter. In an era where there's never been more Hall of Fame, I mean, I feel like there's as many Hall of Famers currently playing the game today as there has ever been. I mean, it just feels like there are a lot of all-time greats playing the sport right now, and he's as good as – now, he hasn't had the, wealth of pitching greatness. He hadn't done it for 10 years and won 15 to 20 games over and over and over again, you know what I mean? But if you were just saying, hey, who alive right now would you want to pitch, game one of a playoff series tomorrow, he would be on the, Skeen, Skubal, Shohei, he'd be on the short list.
Burke, did you know that the Giants had this kind of ball club before the season? Were you expecting them to be this kind of paltry?
I know they were essentially, what they win, 81 games, 83 games, whatever they won.
Yeah.
They were essentially 500 last year. So, what I did know was that they're in a division with two of the teams that are all in. You're in a division with the Padres and the Dodgers. So you got your hands full just regardless. I did know that.
Berkey, what are your workouts? People on YouTube are wondering. I know we're kind of gone all over the place here, but do you do Tai Bo? Do you do Tai Chi?
Yeah, Tai Bo. That's what I do. Just get yourself an old VHS player.
Yeah.
Pop you in a Tai Bo disc, and that's it.
Brian, do you remember Tai Bo? Brian, do you remember the Tai Bo craze? The African American fellow.
I don't even know what Tai Bo is. So
come on, Brian.
I've never heard of it.
You used to stay up and watch the old. Brian, you remember the old Solo Flex infomercials that would be on at 1 o'clock in the morning? You remember those, Bri? We used to have an old Solo Flex, Berkey. Did you ever work out with a Solo Flex, Berkey?
Probably at some point. But I know exactly what you're talking about. I remember the commercials.
The great Chris Burke, breaking it down scientifically.
Because if you get a Solo Flex, you become a hulking man.
Berkey, I'm gonna tell you something, and I'm not trying to blow you up, but I told Bino this. I said, I'm sitting over there from Monaco, who I got a crush on. I just think the guy's so talented and so cool and so down to earth and all that in a bag of chips.
He's all those things.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. But then I'm looking at him and I'm looking at you and your arms, man, you're just ripped.
Stop.
How old are you, Burke?
But I'm just throwing out the phrase hulking man because I did hear Titans Bills call the other day, and that was I spit out my lunch.
Berkey's such a simpleton. Berkey's out there listening.
Did he say that you have to watch that show on the BET Plus?
Plus.
Oh my gosh, that was one of the great experiences of all time.
You're making me dizzy, Berkey. Berkey, who are we doing this weekend, if anything?
We got the Tigers, the fighting Tigers of LSU versus the extremely interesting, very dangerous Texas A&M Aggies.
What a weird sport SEC baseball is this year.
Yeah.
Any idea what's going to happen? You prepare for these series, you like to have an inkling of what's going to occur.
I can't wait to see it and feel it because I really, it's been a little bit since I've been down to Alex Box Stadium, and it has always been one of the places in the sport that actually can affect the outcome of a game.
Yeah.
But that, it feels like the season is so up in the air that I'm actually really curious just to get a feel for how it, what the vibe is. Like normally they are willing their team to win.
Yes.
But I get the feeling they don't love their team right now.
Right. Right.
And so I'm just curious. And the Aggies are playing with incredible confidence. Now, they don't pitch very well. Like a lot of teams in the league, they're flawed on the mound. But, man, their offense is giving me some 2024 Tennessee vibes. they don't quite have Blake Moore and Blake Burke and Christian Moore, but like Rahovac and Sorrell are pretty good, 1 and 2. That Tennessee 2014 was just, it was crazy because you just had to deal with Moore and Burke right out of the gate. And it was just like, they would suffocate you like from the jump. And then the lineup had so much length, they kept turning it over and they'd be up again and they'd be up again. That's how this Aggie lineup feels a little bit.
And if you made one mistake on those guys, they flat out made you pay. Especially Moore that year. Moore had a magic wand in his hand that year, man. Just a magic wand.
I tell you, Burke was pretty stinking good. And Burke was amazing with the glove that year.
Yep.
I mean, I still think Blake Burke made the biggest jump of any player I've seen from sophomore to junior year. I mean, he went from being kind of a mess as a sophomore, like very talented, extremely interesting to watch play the game, but there was just some very high highs and very low lows. And all of a sudden, junior is like, who put this major league veteran on a college baseball field? Like his at-bats, his defense, his leadership, and that's going to be, not to change subjects, but kind of along the same note is, the portal was just getting going then. Yeah. And, Burke and Moore were so talented and plenty good enough where, of course, nobody would have like pulled the plug on those two guys after sophomores. They were still, very clearly, potential first, second round talents, but they just both needed to make a big jump. And they did. And as this sophomore class, starts to play a little bit better, it's going to be interesting to see how they finish because it is easy to remember Burke and Moore and forget that they got there really high as freshmen. And then as sophomores, they weren't great. They were really good. They were crazy talented, but they weren't great, and then they were great as juniors. And so it'll be interesting to see which ones of this current sophomore group are back next year. Because, in today's world, you just never know.
Oh, I know, you don't. And it's either a player or the coach or the agent or all three of the above. And I got some unbelievable stories for you on this.
I mean, if you'd have told me that Amari Evans wasn't going to be...
Oh, it's crazy.
I never thought in a million years.
Here's the best part about the story, okay? His agent talked him into believing that Kansas had an offer for him, which is what he told Tennessee's coaches. And they were like, well, Amari, because they love him. Amari, you need to go. If that's the case, man, and you can get that, you need to go. He gets out there, and there is no offer. Burke, it looks like he's going to go to Georgia.
I mean, that's what I was about to say. Like, how is he's still out there?
Does that sound fun? I heard last night that
that makes me sad for the kid.
Exactly.
If there's ever been a Rick Barnes player, it's that kid.
Exactly. Just a tough guy. Just a absolute tough guy on a basketball court. Question for you.
I actually think his ceiling was higher than Meshack.
I agree with that. No, they agree with that.
And Meshack is currently like a living, breathing NBA player.
Sure he is. Like, yeah.
I mean, there's no reason why Evans couldn't have been there. Maybe he still will be, but it's a shame we're not going to get to see it.
Burke, you and I were talking off the air. This Barnes guy is like early 70s, okay? He's navigating and moving around in that transfer portal like he's Tony Vitello or something. And the urgency with which they're putting this roster together, is this just unreal what we're seeing here from this guy? His kind of latest incarnation, because he's telling people, I love this. He tells people, I love this. We have to go hard for 15 days, he says, in recruiting. Sunday night, everybody told me for last Friday, and you were listening to the show, that this Juke Harris guy was going to commit to Michigan. All the sites and people were out there crystal balling him, and they were telling me behind the scenes, Tony, that's not true. That is not true. We're visiting with him on Sunday. I held my tongue. I didn't say anything, but I did say I don't believe what these folks are laying down. Berkey, they brought their whole team to this kid on Sunday. Every assistant coach. They went like 7 strong into his living room, Berkey.
it's pretty unbelievable that Rick Barnes must be your source, because I don't know who else could give you such good information. I mean, you got a pretty good basketball source right now. I'll just go ahead and say that, because you have been all over this one. But, you know, I will say this. I love Coach Barnes. You know I'm a huge Coach Barnes fan. But you don't do what they're doing in the portal without an amazing team of people. They clearly are, because one of my kind of pet projects throughout this baseball season is I have really been asking people how their portal system works.
Yeah.
And really diving in with teams on, because one of the stories with LSU baseball is they whiffed the portal. They've whiffed it. It's crazy. Their best portal pickup was their Saturday starter, who's now hurt. They're going to get him back soon, but like, you know, when you're LSU and you're the king of the hill, and you essentially throw up a goose egg in the portal, like that's untenable in the SEC. You can't get away from it. Like, you know what I mean? The margins are too slim in the conference to make up for whiffing in the portal. And but what I know is they're, you know, they try this one year, and then they go that, and then they use these metrics, and then they go heavy on, you know, scouting report. Like they're all kind of guessing, right? But they have a system, but they're also, it's still new enough where they're not married to their system. But when you see Tennessee like identify people and land them, and I know you need money, so I'm not trying to act like money isn't a part of it.
Correct.
But it's still their whole, and let's be honest, the money is part of the organization.
That's right.
Like it's part of the system. So their deal is just really buttoned up right now.
Yes.
And I don't exactly know who gets, you know, the lion's share of that credit, but it clearly is a well-oiled machine, what they got going.
Well, they've got a great GM internally. They've got this Campbell kid who's just a wonderkin. He's like Monaco is.
Scouting.
He does a bunch of the scouting and a bunch of the, hey, these are the guys we need to go after. So and then they know, he knows what Barnes wants culturally speaking. Here's a little backstory, right? There's a kid at, and I'm not knocking the kid, but there's a kid at Georgia who just committed elsewhere. Wilkinson, I think is his name. Wilkins, somebody can tell. No. I think his name's Wilkinson. Forward. Tennessee early on kind of involved with him, you know, while the season was still going on. They identified him as a guy that, hey, we want to talk to him after the season. That's what all these teams are doing now. And so, but as they got to digging on him, I understand that they come to the conclusion that, you know, he's kind of I want to get my shot first guy. And, you know, he's just not, he wasn't going to take hard coaching, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, you don't fool with those guys. You're recruiting for a Rick Barnes system. So not only do you have to be able to play, but you have to meet a certain kind of emotional profile, you know, to survive in their deal. Let me ask you that. Go back to baseball. Did you have any inkling at all? Because I asked Monaco this. The Tennessee team that you saw that could not get out of its own way, that somehow figured out a way to lose an extra inning game by double-digit runs. I don't think I've ever seen that in my life in any level of baseball. I mean, that's quite a trick in the trade, if you will, that they would go down to a hostile environment and never trail in that series, Chris Burke? Never trail?
Well, it's funny because I told you, I can't remember when you had me on. I don't know if it was before they went to Houston or before they went to Georgia, and I was talking about sometimes it's good to get away. There's something
you did say that
about getting away, and getting away can often galvanize a team. And so, you know, the league obviously this year is pretty impossible to predict. But what I will say is, like, you've heard me say this before, I'm a big law of averages guy, especially in baseball. And really, all those games followed almost a perfect script of the whole LSU series. Yeah. The difference was they just held and extended their lead.
Yes.
But, I mean, almost every game they've played, heck, even the Game 3 against Georgia, almost every game they've played, with a rare exception, they've been either even or tied after 7 innings. I mean, excuse me, up or even.
Up or even.
Yeah, after 7 innings.
Yeah.
So you're like, so when you turn on the score and they're up 4-1 in the fifth, it's not like, oh my gosh, Tennessee's winning the game. They've literally been doing that the whole conference season. It's just a matter of, okay, like at some point you're going to have to take the guy who's in the game out, right? He's not going to pitch the whole game.
Yep.
And then is the next guy going to get his job done? And then can the offense just capitalize a little bit more with a 2-out knock or bases clearing double? Really that goofy inning on Friday, that was kind of the way where you go, oh, wait a second here. Tennessee,
tide's turning.
Yeah, they got what'd they get? 3 runs and didn't hit the ball.
Didn't hit the ball at the end. Yes, which is what teams have been doing to them. Which is what LSU did to them. LSU hit a couple balls, and Matt pointed this out in his report and was on with Will Heflin. Matt said, I've never seen a baseball team have an opponent hit more balls in deep short that don't get out of the infield but are hitting a perfect spot, or these soft ground balls that just kind of come off the bat, which is just pure luck. That is just dumb luck. Pure in hockey, they call it puck luck. It is just that those things have to even up, man. They have to even up as the season goes on, and I think the sport of baseball owes this Tennessee team a few more games like that, Berkey.
Well, I mean, it kind of, and Josh, to Josh's credit, he's been very stable through the whole deal.
Yes.
And he kept saying his message to the team has been that the door swings both ways. That's what his message has been. And right now the door's, kind of being thrown at us, but it can open right back up just the same way. And sure enough, but let's give them some credit. One thing Tennessee's doing a fantastic job of, they are not giving up free bases. They're not walking people, and they're really not making errors. And at every level of baseball, if you make the other team hit their way to offense, you got a chance to win the ball game.
No doubt about it. Berkey, how did they respond this week? Because Matt and I were talking about this, and just when you think this team's they're a riddle like the rest of the league. I don't even know how you intelligently endeavor to speak about this stuff, because the more we see, the less we understand with this season this year.
I think, you've obviously spent a decent amount of time here recently talking about Tony's deal.
Yeah.
I think if you watch enough Major League Baseball, you learn to roll with the punches. Oh, say you're a Phillies fan. Oh, we got swept in New York, but we went down there and won 2 out of 3 in Miami, and then we went to DC and won 2 out of 3, and it wasn't that bad of a road trip. We won 4 out of 8 or whatever. It's like, and when it's pros versus pros, you expect that, but typically in college sports, there's more of a gap between the haves and the have-nots. Well, one of the things that I'm becoming more and more sure of in all the sports, but and maybe college basketball is a little different, but I'm really feeling this in college football and college baseball in the SEC. Everybody, like, I think in college basketball, there's only 6 or 8 schools in the SEC that really care. I think in college football, that every school in the SEC has to care, because their fan bases care so much, their donors care so much, and they know they're allowed to spend money, so they're forced to spend money. So even Mississippi State, Arkansas, fill in the blank, like, they have to spend $20 million, Tony. Like, they have to.
Yep.
Right? So they're going to get enough good players that it shortens Tennessee and Georgia's and Alabama's roster, because even the teams that can't really win it have to try to win as much as they can. Nobody's throwing up goose eggs, really. You know what I mean? And in baseball, it's the sport of the big three that people feel like has the least amount of barriers to entry to be at the top of the sport, because 8 teams go to Omaha, and because 12 teams from the conference make the tournament every year. You know what I'm saying? So it just feels like in the league, there's so many people trying to be good. We're going to get a lot of around 500 records. And again, I started off talking about pro baseball. If you look up after 30 games in Major League Baseball, what is there? There'll be 20 teams that are right around 500. And we're going to look up after 30 games in the SEC, and there's going to be 12 of the 16 teams are going to be between 13 and 16 wins, probably. It's just,
hey, Chris,
everybody's not that different,
Could you see 14 SEC teams making it this year?
Channel Jimmy Dykes here, Berkey.
I don't think 14 will make it, but I think 12 will. And what I'm curious to see, Tony, last year, Brian, only 2 SEC teams made Omaha. Now, again, is that an anomaly, or is that an example that the conference is kind of cannibalizing itself? Mm-hmm. Is the fact that everybody's trying to win, shortening the rosters of some of your traditional powers in the league?
You're my guy who believes this happening in all sports, which is why we're not winning national championships now. And you know what? You might be right.
We're not winning nationals. Yeah,
that might be right, Berkey.
And I think that if you're Greg Sankey and you've built the league on it just means more, I think in a way this almost shows that that's true. Yep. It does mean more. It means more to all the schools.
It almost means too much, right? Your point.
It almost means too much. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
so
it just means too much.
Maybe we'll look up in the SEC. We'll have 4 teams in Omaha again, and it'll be an all SEC final. That wouldn't surprise me. But maybe we'll look up and they'll be struggling to put 2 teams in Omaha again, and UCLA wins the whole thing, and maybe it's UCLA and Georgia Tech. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine a final in Omaha without an SEC team in it?
Sure.
That'd be crazy. I don't think it's happened since 2016, Tony.
I tell you one thing. When you see these other sports and what's going on, and you see that Big Ten, and you look at that UCLA power team they have, and even though they're not compared to past years, but still they're pretty darn good. You just kind of look at it and you go, man, the other league and leagues are starting to crawl back a little bit. Or to your point, because SEC football was not good last year by SEC standards, it just wasn't. It was pretty good, but there was nobody great. There was nobody objectively in our league great. Now, we didn't want to believe that, but when you saw Indiana get on the field with that Alabama team, and I mean, Berkey, that looked like 3 different levels down Alabama football was to Indiana. I was waiting for the rapture that night. It was so weird looking seeing that, Berkey.
It really was. And you get stuck in your... And I'm right here. Like, I'm going to go do Coastal in North Carolina on a Tuesday coming up. And I'm excited to do it because it's easy for me as a national broadcaster who does most of my work in the SEC.
Yeah.
It's easy to get stuck in your SEC bubble and just assume with the crowds and the coaches and the NIL budgets and the stadiums that this has to be the pinnacle of the sport, and it's not close. It's easy to watch SEC football like most of the people listening to the sound of my voice all year long and just assume that's the top of the sport. And then all of a sudden we get in the playoffs and you go, oh, wait a second. This league isn't even there wasn't a team in the league that was even close to the top of the sport.
It's so strange.
I mean, it's wild.
It's so strange.
So I'm not suggesting that's the case.
Right.
But again, this is the first year that today I could actually see a scenario where there wasn't an SEC team in the final. Now, would I bet on it? No. But would it shock me today? No. I could see it. Georgia Tech's really good. UCLA's really good. They're old. They're talented. Maybe.
Isn't that crazy? Berkey, I love you.
It is.
You're my main man. I love your passion. Let me ask you something. And by the way, it's Billy Banks that did Tybo. Billy Banks, I'm being told by the great Andy Anderton.
There you go. Just
Billy
get you
Banks.
VHS. That's all you need.
Bino
Change your life.
Bino called him Billy Blanks. Bino, I don't know who Billy Blanks is, but I do know who Billy Banks is. On the way out, Berkey, will you be watching your boy Monaco when you're around a television? Because you got to hear that kid call hockey.
I would say that, you and him made it sound interesting enough that I'm going to try to give it a go at some point. So, kudos to you, Tony. kudos to you. You piqued my interest.
And I love the NHL, a sport that really doesn't want anybody to watch them. They still don't have a playoff schedule out yet. We don't even know when the games are. Where are the games? I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing, NHL? This is not that hard. This can't be that hard. But Berkey, I love you.
I appreciate you.
Enjoy your weekend call. Do the Vols.
Let me just real quick on the Ole Miss and Tennessee.
Hit it. I want to hear it.
Ole Miss has two really good starters.
Yes.
In Hunter Elliott and Cade Townsend, like two really good starters.
Yes.
And then of course you got Tennessee. I think is starting to become, the top end of Tennessee's pitching group is probably right there towards the top of the league. So it'll be interesting. I think the first two games, it could be, more 4-3, 5-4 kind of baseball. So just giving you a heads up, like the two guys, this is how crazy college baseball is. Hunter Elliott, who, by the way, I don't have this verified, but it would shock me if Hunter Elliott isn't one of the highest paid players in the sport, the number one guy for Ole Miss.
Yeah.
He pitched the championship game for Ole Miss in 2022. Now think about that for a second.
I mean, what are we doing here, Berkey? Seriously, what have we done?
He pitched the title game in 2022.
What are we doing here? Hey, Berkey, on the way out, guess what?
Yeah.
Bino was right.
Yeah.
It is blanks.
Bino's always right. He's like, if you guys are keeping a tab on you and him, that's not very close. I hate to say it. No offense, as you would say.
Burke, I love you. Thanks, Paisan.
Love you, bro. Later.
Or should I say half Paisan? That's what I should say. 865-200-5402. So it is Billy Blanks from Tybo. Brian, you remember Tybo, right? You remember because Train had that. Train mentioned Tybo in a song. In one of Pat Monahan's lyrics. Something Tybo.
Tybo sounds like someone who would kick your ass Chuck Norris style.
Oh, no question. That's what it was. Yeah, you get your head handed to you. Down around a platter. I just watched the Flyers hype video, Ignite the Orange, and I'm getting ready to shed a tear here in the studio. Touch my heart. I love me some Berkey. Zach Scott, the fact that Berkey uses your phrases back at you to burn you is beyond next level. Yeah. Berkey sits out there and, does his workouts and builds his abs and whatever else he's doing and counts his calories and probably does the Gabe Kapler thing where he eats a Snicker bar and hovers over a trash can and spits it out and all that stuff. But, yeah, I used to love those, like the Solo Flex. And, they would show the guy and, hey, I want those arms. I think I'll get me a Solo Flex. Okay, what else is there? Oh, Nega Dave, call in. I've cleared the lines for you, Nega Dave. I want to hear from Nega Dave. I want to hear if Nega Dave is feeling glass half full about what's happening in the portal right now. They got the commitment yesterday. Everybody under the sun is saying or thinking about Drew Karras. Drew Karras is on his way. I was talking to a buddy of mine about Drew Karras the other night, and Laura said, if you say that name like that again, Tony, so help me, I'm going to literally take this Coke Zero and throw it all over you. She said, you're getting on my nerves. Please stop. Please stop. But I'm going to put the APB out for Nega Dave. Don't you, Brian, want to see if Nega Dave is in on this class, if he's believing right now, as he sees this thing come to fruition? Because I really do believe that Tennessee, they believe he's going to get Harris. I believe they're going to get him. I believe they're going to get that kid that's on campus today. And I believe if they go 3 for 3, I believe Nega Dave's going to believe. Now, somebody asked me, Tony, what's the timeline on point guard 1? Well, the portal closes on Monday. That's your timeline. I don't think that's the time. I don't think that's their deadline, though. I think they want to know something by tomorrow. Tomorrow, Friday. I'm not speaking for them, and I'm certainly not going to speak in absolutes. But it feels like, and I do believe those guys really have a plan. I wish they'd help us in football. The guts of the Barnes operation. I really wish they would help us in football. Those guys just know how to navigate. They know what they're doing. They just know what they're doing. They just know what they're doing. They just know what they're doing. Period. They just know how to navigate this thing. And watching them do this, and you say, well, they have money. Everybody's got money. Everybody's got money. Kentucky has money. How many guys does Kentucky have to swing and miss on here? Kentucky has money, Nega Dave. Everybody has money. And people say, well, they have money. Arkansas's got money. Alabama's got money. Stephen F. and Pearl don't have money. Auburn, for whatever reason, they decided that's it for the Pearls. But everybody has money. Think about that. It's more than just money. It's more than just... It's having a cogent plan and going, okay, we have to be nimble here. We have to be nimble. Harris is a guy Tennessee was involved with, then they weren't. Then they were, then they weren't. But what's interesting about him is that they didn't really need to rush him here because he'd already been on campus. They finished second for him out of high school. And they've stayed in touch with his representation. They've gotten to know the representation very, very, very well. And so I say all that to say this to you. These guys are jamming on the one. I mean, they're getting it done. And let me tell you something. If point guard 1 ends up in that portal, it's going to send shockwaves and reverberations around the sport. Another thing. I heard today from a source in the business that we've got a new thing now that we're going to see. Assistant coaches, like in the high school days, okay, are pimping themselves out along with players. One guy that Tennessee's involved with, the assistant coach doesn't want $50,000. No. You want that player? He wants a $500,000 position for himself. Now, when does this end? And listen, here's what they've done. They've created a system of absolute anarchy. 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 When does it end? Does it end? I don't know that it ends. So, on the other side, I'm going to welcome back my friends to the show that never ends. Nega Dave's going to lead off because he's answered the bell. Laura was right there making sure that he answered the bell. So Nega Dave answered the bell. And I'm going to see if Nega Dave is satisfied. And I'm going to see if he believes right now. Now, I want the living listener to tell me, Brian, do you think Nega Dave is a believer right now? He saw Duke Karras' face, and now he's a believer. Do you think Nega Dave, who was literally last Friday was ready to do a splashdown outside of Calhoun's off the pedestrian bridge?
I don't think Nega Dave is a believer until he sees them cutting nets down after an Elite Eight game.
I believe that Nega Dave needs hard coaching. which we've given him. We've suspended him. We've banned him. He had a week off earlier in the year. He needs his head examined. If I could flood the line between him and me on the other side with some audio preparation I would, for the festering wound that is his sports soul. But we'll come back on the other side. By the way, earlier today I saw where Live Nation and Ticketmaster were in cahoots on price fixing. They were found guilty of that in a court of law. Let me tell you, that's shocking. That's shocking. They had transcripts of these guys back and forth talking about how they almost felt bad for the ticket buying public because y'all are such a bunch of marks. That's what they were saying, and dupes and dopes. That's literally what they were saying to each other. That came up in Discovery. Shocking. Shocking that that's going on. They were talking about these add-on fees that everybody's paying now. They've gotten people used to paying these fees. Think about that. The infrastructure is already set up. What are you paying a fee for? What are you paying a fee for? The infrastructure is already set up. So we continue with more on the other side after this. Nega Dave on the other side upon the continuance. You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land? Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contract. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting.
College football fans, Chris Fowler here with the play call. This season, go for Dose with ice-cold, refreshing Dos Equis. It's more than a single play. It's a mindset. Think of it as a 2-point conversion for real life. Taking the risk, making the bold move. Whenever we get the chance to go big, we take it. On the field and off, always go for Dose with Dos Equis.
Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis Lager Especial Beer. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Tony Basilio here, and I got the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance 2026. Chad, do you believe we've made it?
Boys and girls teams start off the new year at big national event showcases. We got our younger kids training indoors and doing a lot of things to get better. So we're excited about what the future holds.
Chad, I hear the juice behind you. I hear the kids. Your program reaches throughout East Tennessee. If folks want to get involved, what's the advice?
We're easy to get in touch with. We offer players at all ages, all levels, all experience. We have a program for all of our kids that we have, and we're excited for anyone to join us.
And even some Lady Vols as well. Several college players all over the country, yes?
Absolutely. We had a lot of girls that we were able to watch play in the NCAA tournament. A lot of our former players made big runs through the tournament. We're so excited for them.
Growing the beautiful game. In this, the year of the World Cup in North America, celebrate the beautiful game. Get your child involved. FCAllianceKnox.org. That's FCAllianceKnox.org. And Chad, thank you, man. Keep growing the beautiful game.
Absolutely, Tony, and thank you very much.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good. Like our 2026 football Vols, score a T3TD every time with T3 Vodka, Tennessee's premium vodka. Handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. Right here, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Quality around here isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. And T3's filtered 10 times. 80 proof of vodka delivering a smoothness unmatched. This dedication to excellence has earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades, like a 5-time gold medal award-winning vodka and your SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner as well. Whether you're sipping it neat, on the rocks, mixing your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka, your choice for a premium award-winning experience. Be like Maury Hanks. Score a T3TD. Ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, and score a T3TD all 2026 long. Tennessee's Premium Vodka. T3, Tennessee's Premium Vodka. Distributed by Empire Distributors of Tennessee.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready, because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Well, you know, this is fun. And I'll tell you what's fun about this. Brian and I were just talking. Brian, how is Negative Dave going to react today? Glass half full, glass half empty, somewhere in between. What do you got?
He'll be neither one. He'll just be kind of, okay.
All right.
I believe it when I see it, but not negative necessarily.
Really? He's always negative, Brian. The only time Negative Dave wasn't negative this year is when the Vols on our Garza Law Tennessee basketball overtime jumped into the Elite Eight, and literally he said, and I quote, in this manner, by the way, I would like to thank and congratulate Coach Barnes. And all I could picture was somebody with a loaded gun cocked at Dave, no offense, and him reading off some board that somebody had. Like literally like a hostage video. Dave's hemorrhoid pace says over on, and then we'll go to the phones and get Dave in here. Dave hemorrhoids pace says, Tony, we need to hear from that Kentucky mouth breather that called not too long ago to see what his thoughts are on their portal class. Yeah. I wonder where that, hey, Breevers, Kentucky Breevers, you guys, your hotline's open. Your hotline, I don't want to count my chickens till they hatch here, though. But our chickens are hatching and yours are coming home to roost. See, here's the thing about having a lot of money. You might have a lot of money, but you got to have a plan. You got to be able to operate. You got to be able to operate. Rick, no need to ask. Bonds is a smooth operator. He's a smooth operator.
Let's take a phone call.
All right. And let's get the aforementioned artist, one time known as Positive Dave, artist originally known as Dave, the artist known the world over in Basilio Nation, from coast to coast, LA to Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Nega Dave.
Tony, I'm in a better mental state right now than I was last Friday.
And you know what, Dave? I got to say something about a guy. I've coached you. I've suspended you. I've been kind of rough on you. I was pretty proud of your Friday output. I found, because I know where you were. You were believing the boards. You were believing that we had lost Drew Karras, or Drew Karras, as we can call him as well, Drew Karras. And listen, man. This thing's feeling rosy right now. Dave, I want to know, from your perch and no, are you feeling the love right now? You and Nega Sheila. Are you all feeling the love right now?
Well, Nega Sheila's at work. So I'm... we're 3 players away from getting across the finish line. And that's where I'm at. But right now, I'm in a better mental state than I was last Friday.
Dave, what are the 3 players in your opinion?
A combination of any 3. One more big, and then a combination of the guy in Nashville or the Teal guy and Drew Karras.
Now, I believe
maybe the wild card, the big wild card out there, is a return of Nate Amen.
All right, let me say this to you. This is what I believe, okay? Now, you tell me what this does to your mood.
Okay.
I believe they're getting Drew Karras.
Okay.
And I also believe that this Hill kid they're going to get him. I think they're going to pay him. I think they're going to get him.
Well,
so what does that do for you?
Oh, that's fantastic. I guess they're in for that big at Boston College, I think.
Yes.
He's a big guy.
Yes.
A guy that,
Dave, if they don't get point guard 1, and I think we all know who point guard 1 is by now, but if they don't get point guard 1, just this roster they currently have, do you realize how good of a basketball team that is that they're constructing right before our very eyes?
Yeah, and if they get, Amen back, I mean, he can handle the ball. I mean, I think they can do point guard by committee with the Ames and the Hill kid.
Well, I think Brian's right. I think Ament can handle the ball for you somewhere, like Matt Dixon said, because he added that to his repertoire. In fact, if I were them and I struck out on point guard 1, I think I would go to him and say, Nate, you know what? Why don't we change the script, man, and we're going to let you handle the ball for us. We're going to let you facilitate the offense. You imagine what the rest of college basketball does? How do you match up with a guy 6'9" handling the basketball?
16, I don't know. The only problem,
stay there, Dave. Stay there. He's getting ready to say we have a problem, and we're going to Houston. We're going to have a problem on our overtime segment because you bow your head. You talk about another rising star in my profession, a guy I'm high on. William Pattison, if you were a stock, I'd buy all you I could, my brother. And you got the mic next on Fan Run Radio.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
Beach, blankety, bango. That just came to me. That thing to do with the Mint is just to say to him, hey, you play a bunch of guard for us next year. Why wouldn't you do that? If you strike out on point guard 1, you imagine that, Dave? You imagine what that would – how in the hell would you match up with Tennessee?
Right, but as long as these guys figure out the roles and we develop a little bit of chemistry.
Dave.
That's important too, Tony.
Dave. See, Bri? Dave's trying to be positive, but now all of a sudden chemistry's answered the equation, Bri. This damn guy here, Bri, here, I mean, he's uncoachable.
Well, he's trying to present both sides, which I meant when I said that.
He's an idiot.
I meant that he would sort of be right in the middle. It's going to cancel each other out.
He's an idiot.
That's what I meant.
He won't
He's
even
doing
let
exactly
himself
like I thought.
go there. Dave, you won't even let Dave, when you find out later today or tomorrow, and you're hanging out with Nega Sheila, and you find out that Juki, who you had Juki baby at North Carolina, you had him at Kansas, you had him at Michigan, you had him at Michigan State, you had him at Penn State, you had the Juke at UCL, you had him all. When you find out he commits tomorrow, number 3 in America, number 1 in your heart, how big is that going to be for us?
Oh, it's going to be huge, Tony. I hope it comes true like you won't believe. It'll be huge. I'm with you on that. We just got a little ways further to go. That's it, and let's get there. I don't want to talk about it. I just want it to develop and happen on its own.
I'm going to tell on Dave. Dave texted me the other night. We exchanged texts. I like Dave. Dave's, I'm coaching him. Dave says, I can't take this anymore. Like 4 o'clock in the morning. Dave, y'all think Dave's an act? Dave is for real. Dave texts me at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and he's like, I can't take this anymore. I can't take this blank anymore is what he said.
Yeah.
And Dave, the transfer portal, it's kept you up at night, yes or no?
Oh, absolutely.
See? That's how much he loves his Vols. People can say what you want to say about Nega Dave, and most of it's true, and he's a psycho. And he's in need of coaching. But see, we're coming to know you. We're coming to know you. You don't mean any harm. You're not malicious in the intent. But let's talk about this. What about this thing with Amari? This kid from Pittsburgh.
I would take him back.
I would totally take him back.
As long as he, goes for the money and he has a chance to try to get a starting spot, as long as he knows his role.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. He made a mistake. It looks like
yes, he did.
Looking that way.
Well,
somebody will eventually pay him, and he's not going to get the $2 million.
No. Amari Evans, we reported today, his agent told him, you have a deal with Kansas. That's what he told Tennessee. Yeah. That's where the Kansas thing came from. He gets out in the open market. Where's my Kansas deal? There is no deal.
Yeah.
So right now it looks like his suitor is Georgia. Dave, can you imagine him going playing on that mid-Georgia team that's had all this leakage? That's sad.
Yeah, if it came down to that, Tony, he just needs to walk over to Coach Barnes' office and have a sit down.
Magic 8 Ball says, Dave, is there any chance that we sign all 3? Point guard 1, Juke Harrison, the other kid whose name ends with H from VCU. Hill. Is there any chance that Nate Ament sees all that and says, I want to come back anyway?
I think the realistic deal on that is get 2 out of 3, and then the Ament deal is probably about 60-40 that he still goes to the NBA.
I was told today, because I'm asking, what percentage percentages in this stuff will really make you look like a complete fool and an idiot, even more than I already do, and I am a damn fool and a damn idiot. I mean, after all, we do a football game, we're up till 3:30 in the morning. I mean, what damn idiot does that, especially at my age?
I'll tell you a good one here in a second, but go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. Dave, I was told today that the chances of Ament coming back are remote, but in the past 24 hours, they've grown. And here's the thing. Here's what I was told. If you are 13, 14 in the NBA draft, if you are Tennessee and you can offer him commensurate money, because point guard won money, they're talking about around $7 million right now, which I know is a crazy fit. I know that's crazy. I know people think that's Tony's being science fiction. I think I've pretty much not nailed this so far, but we've been pretty on the money with this stuff. I mean, other people basically lift our reporting and then write their own reports and act like it's theirs, which, hey, have at it. You know, more power to you.
Tony, but can you sell the Harrelson kid to stick if Ament comes back?
You already signed him.
Well, but Tony, if he wants to leave tomorrow, he can. He can.
Well, you can if you sell him that Ament's going to play point for you, which is what I would do.
But then you got to sell Ament that's going to be his role.
Well,
yeah, I
would grow him. My play to Ament would be, I will grow you. We're going to grow you. We're not going to stick you at the 3. We're going to let you play a hybrid role. We're going to run our offense through you. And by the way, you and I both know this. The kid from Notre Dame is a kid that Notre Dame ran some of their offense from. It would give you two fun pieces on the floor.
And it's mostly positionless basketball now.
Yes, it is.
So, but I'll tell you a quick story on the me in the portal staying up. My poor wife.
Yes,
she works 12-hour shifts.
Oh, God bless her. I love her.
And,
sweet lady.
And she has to be there at 6, and she gets up at 2:00 in the morning the days that she works the 12-hour shifts. And most of the time when she's getting up to prepare to start her day, I'm still sitting out here in the living room. Pretty bad.
You're what, Dave? Say it again.
She's getting up to start her day. I'm still up, sitting here in the living room. And I haven't.
And you're really getting that worked up. Because one day, I'm not kidding the living listener, Dave texted me at like 4:30 in the morning and said, this portal's driving me crazy.
I did.
Now, y'all think this guy's an act? And Bino tried to tell you he saw him on a softball field. He's not an act. He's not an act. He's not acting. That's why I love him. On this show, let me tell you something. Those of you who just found this program, characters are welcome, and people that keep it real really are really welcome. I love characters, and I like human sores like Dave. Dave's like a human nerve. Now, he gets on my nerves, but he's like a raw nerve. Dave, I describe you that way. I love you. I think you love hard. I know you love the people in your life, but you're a damn nut, man.
Yeah, I got a real good buddy that he has to tell me to stop texting. He can't handle my negativity.
Say?
He just can't.
Hey, Brian, I'm gonna give you Dave's number. I want you to see some of these texts. Brian, are you down with that? Are you down with exchanging numbers with Nega Dave?
Yeah, go ahead.
Say?
Go right ahead.
You would find him highly entertaining. Because Dave, watching a game, we suck. This game's over. This Dan Barnes guy can't coach. You talk about a guy that rides a damn roller coaster. I don't know if there's such a thing as a sports shrink. I don't know if there's such a thing as a sports shrink or.
Dave turns a basketball game off when they're down 2-0, 30 seconds.
Oh,
in.
He's not, Brian.
He's like, it's over.
He's a maniac.
I mean, when Miami, Ohio went out there, and I think they hit their first 3 out of 4 threes, and caught a little lead on us early. I said, well, this thing's over. I know it, man.
Navy
It's
wife
bad.
Allison says you need a gratitude journal, and the first thing you ought to put in that gratitude journal is, I'm thankful for Rick Barnes, right at the very top of it. Did you ever think you'd see Barnes do? I'm going to ask you what I asked Burke. Did you ever think we'd see Rick Barnes navigate like this in the portal, Dave? Tell the truth.
No.
No.
I mean, I thought he was close. I just thought, but this is a whole, I don't want to jinx it. I hope it continues. I hope we get those few more players that we need, and then we'll see what happens. But we'll have let's put it this way: we get those guys, we'll have a legitimate shot at this whole thing. I'm not talking about.
Listen to him, Bri. Listen to him. Say it again, Dave. Say it again, and I want to cut Matt. I want this thing cut. Say it again, Dave. Say it.
If we get the few more guys that we're in on, and we deliver those, and they're wearing orange next year, we don't have just a chance to make a Final Four. We get a chance to win the whole thing. I'm serious.
Go! Let's go! Hey, Dave, thanks, man. Love you.
See you guys. Bye.
You've taken hard coaching. Well, Brian, the guy, you can literally sit there and tell the guy like he's an imbecile and a moron, and he just kind of laughs. Have you ever heard a caller like that?
He takes it all in stride. I respect that. He's
so happy. He's so happy right now. See, that's the thing about Dave. You don't understand. People think it's an act. He goes like this, look, because I've got family members that take sports like he does, and they go like this. They ride the ride. They don't sit there like you and me and go, hey, man, you're down 10 in the first half. They do this thing. They do this whole thing. The highs are real high. The lows, and then at the end of a game, his cortisol levels they're going to be off the charts. They need to come up with a short-term kind of medicine for people like Dave when they watch sports. And he texted me, because I told a couple people, my source at UT, they were laughing their heads off because they love Dave. And I told one guy, I said, he screenshot me 425. The guy goes, I don't believe you. Or he texts me, I screenshot it, sent it to him. On my phone, it says Nega Dave. He said, that's insane. He's up thinking about, he said, we're getting a good night's sleep. Let's go back to the phones. Yeah, people thinking that Dave's a work. Dave's a shoot all day long. He is a shoot. My good friends. But let's go back to the phones. We'll get as many people in here as humanly possible. Dave, you fired me up today, man. How about that, Bri? He was positive, Bri. He was positive. Hey, Bri, what'd you think of the Monaco guy? Your thoughts on him? Sound like a good dude?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he's a really good dude.
He sounded like he was really beyond his years as far as just what he knew and where he is right now.
Yep. Brian, what's going to become of Dalton Knecht in the NBA? Somebody asked about that. It's a shame that trade didn't go through for him because he's now out there with with LeBron James's vanity project where they basically have squeezed him out. Bronny.
And they're playing LeBron's son in front of him, which is a complete joke. But I expect nothing less from that organization. That's who they are.
It's a joke. If LeBron James, no offense to Joshy Boy, but if Bronny James and Dalton Knecht played a game to 100, it would be about 95-5 to 100. Let's go back to the phones. Doesn't make any sense. I don't know what I'm saying. None of that made any sense. Just scratch that from the record.
Would it be that close?
Hello and welcome in. You're on our overtime segment.
We've seen him, Muppet.
Rossini. That was good. I like that. The Rossini gal. Newsflash for people everywhere. Okay? If you think that she's the only one that's engaged in that kind of behavior in sports, now, have you seen how beautiful some of these females are that are these sports reporters now? Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
What do you say, Johnny?
Hey, Philly.
Interesting conversation with Dave there.
Dave sounds about giddy, Philly. How about you?
Well, I'm still kind of in shock. They're recruiting so well.
Philly, you know what's weird to me? Is seeing, I just can't wrap my brain around this. Matt and I were talking off the air today. I can't get over how Tennessee is just they're besting all these who's who programs. Philly, they're beating Kansas for people now.
Well, Kansas is having a problem there in NIL for some reason. I see where Missouri took their freshman forward, just committed in Missouri.
Doesn't make any sense.
Tiller.
Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, that's a guy the Vols were linked to at one point as well.
But what they've done is really amazing. Now, we don't have a point guard, but like you say, we're going to do point guard by committee. And
no, I don't think so, Phil. I think they're going to go get a point guard. I think they're going to go get a home run hitter point guard. Because here's the thing. If they get this kid from VCU, Phil, they're still going to have – people don't believe me. They're still going to have about $7 million left. And they're wanting to pay a little something, but it's not going to be that. And so they're still going to have a bunch of money to go work down their secondary list. But they haven't been told no yet from the point guard one, Phil. The point guard one target has not said no yet.
So we ought to know by this weekend if point guard one's ever going to materialize at all.
I would think so, Phil, because you got to. I don't know what their deadline with him is, but there's got to be one. There just has to be.
And it looks like Vanderbilt, their roster is not anywhere near our roster.
Well, what's interesting is Vanderbilt's got a guard on their roster, okay, that they're kind of waiting to see what he does with the NBA. And they think he's going to command a pretty penny. So they're trying to figure that out, whether to build with him or build without him. If I were offering them some advice, I would probably build without him. I would build. But they've been pretty quiet so far, Phil.
Yeah, well, there's been a lot of teams that have been pretty quiet. Kentucky's having a real slow start, like you talked earlier.
Yep.
I don't know what they're doing. I think you're cold hard on 1340 Baskerville compared Mark Polk to Queen Kimmy here at UT on the lady ball side.
Well, he's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. They're going after, and it's weird. Kentucky's involved with a bunch of mid-major players. Queen Kimmy's filling out her roster with a bunch of mid-major players. And Danny White's on the radio yesterday saying, "Well, just watch." And then the other guy, the no offense to Brian Rice, but they talk about how there's life on Mars. I think Brian Rice lives there already. Brian Rice said they're going to go to the Elite Eight. Hey, Brian, Elite Eight of what? The CBI? What are you talking about? The Elite Eight?
Yeah. Tony, on this foul shooting was our biggest bugaboo last year.
Yeah.
And all these guys we've committed, except for the guy from Lower Chicago, are good foul shooters.
Yep. So they're all playable.
3 or 4 games, you might win just because they have better foul shooting.
They're all playable in the tournament, Phil. That when I see that you're a good foul shooter, that means you're a playable player in the tournament.
And not only that, this the kid that's Ames.
Yes.
He can create a shot. off the dribble.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy the 3-pointer guy from Belmont, he's got a quick release when he's shot, so that'll be hard to defend. I don't want you have to put an elite defender on them, and not many people got elite defenders anymore.
Philly, they're one of, in my mind, they're building one of the more fascinating teams we've seen in recent years. Look, just because it looks good on paper doesn't mean it looks good in practice. We know that. And chemistry, and who's going to be the leader, and you lost a couple of your culture guys. Man, I wish the Evans guy would have stayed. But, at the end of all this, I get the sense that they're putting together a team that's going to be pretty damn hard to knock out of that tournament next year. That's the whole goal here.
Yeah, and if you look at the SEC, I guess they're probably already in the top 3. I guess Florida's probably the team to beat in the SEC next year.
Yep. And Florida's made some interesting moves as well, Phil. And you know what? I got to say this. Todd Golden, is a guy a little creepy? Probably. Is he creeping around somebody's yard in camouflage, hiding in their bushes at night? Maybe. Guy knows how to coach basketball.
Yeah, he knew to get Walter Clayton from Rick Pitino, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
That got him a national championship.
Yes, it did, Phil. And it was way under the radar, was it not, when Clayton went there? Way under the radar.
Tony, on the football front before I get off here,
yep.
I'm like you. I wish Heupel had some of Rick Barnes in him and buddy up to these big boosters and go out and buy us a football team like LSU's doing.
Hey, Phil, if Lane Kiffin came back here, it's exactly what Tennessee football would be doing. They'd be acting like a big player in the deal, a big wheel, and they'd be spending big money in the portal. You know how I know that? Because it's there. But you have to ask. You have to ask. You can't rely on your NIL to raise funds. I'm a big believer now. We were talking about this with Watson Brown yesterday, and Watson said, oh, heavens, yes. The head coach has to pick the phone up and call XYZ Booster and say, we need this money for this guy today. And you got to do that. And I don't know whether or not Heupel has that in him. I get the sense Heupel wants to call offensive plays. And he's a really solid head coach. But it's like Cinco said yesterday, he doesn't show the razor sharpness that Barnes is showing right now with the way they maneuver the portal. He just doesn't.
Yeah, but Barnes is getting better a coach as older as he gets, and Heupel's not. That's the difference.
Well, I don't know about all that. I just don't think Heupel has that edge to him. And maybe you can still win big without having that edge. But boy, in this era, I think edge helps. The edgiest guy of all of them is the guy at Indiana. Phil, did you ever think in a million years they could do that at Indiana?
No. It's a miracle.
And people could talk about how, well, basketball, it's less players and this, that. Yeah, true. The guy at Indiana is the edgiest son of a bitch alive. And he went and asked for the big boosters. He went and asked for the order. Look at his team. Look at his team. And he knows what he's doing. And I get it. Look, we went and got a strength and conditioning coach. It's not like we're standing still. I get it. But when you're at Tennessee, man, you got to use the portal more than we have. You just do. And people don't want to hear that. They think I'm like ripping this coach. I'm not calling for this coach to be fired. I'm not. I like this coach. I want him to make it.
Well, there's no sense of urgency, Tony. We're going into year 6 of Heupel, and we haven't won anything yet.
Well, yeah, we have. He's won 10 games twice, and they've made the playoffs. They won things. Come on now, be fair. They've beaten Alabama a couple times. He's won things. Come on, Phil. Let's be fair now.
So you don't want to contend for a championship? Then?
I didn't say that. I said that if I'd like for him to hit the portal harder and show some more urgency than he does, but whatever.
We lost to Vanderbilt last year, Tony.
No, we got run over by Vanderbilt.
It's unforgivable to get beat by Vanderbilt in your own stadium.
You know what, though, Phil? There's a bunch of teams in the Big Ten that got run over by Indiana. And we're just in a new world order in college football. It's almost like the team names don't even matter anymore, Phil.
Well, that's why you got to go out and get the best coach you can get. It's all about money now.
Thank you, Philly.
Hey.
I don't even know if it's about money. I think it's about having a plan, being nimble enough to work your plan and to execute your plan. And this basketball team, man, this Barnes guy, I was on here his first year saying that it was weekend at Barnsley's. I couldn't have been more wrong about that. But I never dreamed we'd be in this era right now.
Have we come since they couldn't get a top 100 player?
Right. I mean, I was
They
thinking
went how
about
many
that.
days? We had a countdown clock.
We
Brad.
did.
Number of days.
I was thinking about this, Brian. We've gone from that to they're probably going to add this kid out of Nashville or Murfreesboro, mid-state. And he's a top 100 player, and we're not even going to bat an eyelash. Of course, I don't have any to bat. But it's not going to get
He's
lost.
an afterthought.
He's an afterthought. Back then, we would be on here dissecting this kid. What are you getting? Blah, 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 blah. You know. So, I just think this... I just think this thing's really interesting. And I just want to see Heupel throw his weight around a little bit in the portal. Because Tennessee has something to sell. And they have something to say. And they need to be picking players off people's rosters. I mean, there are guys in the portal. Tennessee was involved with in basketball like back in November and December. That's what you do. By the way, there are people on their roster that people have been making calls about and fooling around with since December and November too. I mean, that's what you do. I mean, it's what you have to do. Look, do I think this stuff's savory? Not really. Is it the way I would want the sport structured? No. I think I call it, the kids are being paid, and some people say it's professional sports. No, it's not. It's unprofessional sports. That's what college sports are. They're unprofessional sports. And Danny White is right that you need collective bargaining. Problem is, the NCAA has allowed this. Why would the kids, if the NCAA has allowed it to get in this form it's in, why would I ever sit in a room with you when I get free agency every year? You think those agents are going to let those kids do that? Now, think about that for a second. All this talk about, well, we're going to have a Super League and partition it off. I mean, I think that cart's left the barn. You know? And the weird thing about Heupel with the portal is that if they didn't get that Tennessee assistant coach, how many players would they have gotten out of the portal this year? I mean, I'm just asking for a friend. It doesn't make any sense. People think I'm being like really critical. I'm not. I'm not. But I am being critical. Yes. Because it could be so much more. And I'm of the belief that these teams in college sports are all about players. Let me back up here. Yeah, they're all about players. Why do you think Nick Saban recruited like his hair was on fire? Every minute of every day. And everybody says, well, he's the greatest coach. He had the best players. Sweetheart. He had the best players. Honey buns. You know? As we go back to the phones. Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday. I wish Cade Phillips the most of success. I love Cade Phillips. Comes from a great family. Is a good kid. I wanted him back, and I wanted that Evans kid back. Those are my two guys I wanted back. Two hard-nosed players. He's going to go to a buckyball. He makes great sense at buckyball. Uses athleticism, get up and down the floor, make spectacular plays in the open court, run and dunk some, and then on defense, kind of fly around and do whatever it is. He's very athletic. Good for him. Look, he's not going to be a high-level professional player. I do not blame him one bit for chasing a bag. I don't blame any of these guys, for that matter. But let's go back to the phones. 865-200-5402. I'll tell you what we need to do is we need to fire up our first installment of the Lieutenant's Lounge and talk about the inner workings of how they put this class together once it happens. Because some of these backstories on these guys are... I mean, this is just... You guys are working now. You guys are working it. And I respect it. Because one thing you've got to be is nimble on your feet in this thing. You have got to be able... You have got to be able to spin multiple plates at multiple times. You got to do that to do what I do. Like I'm in here, talking to people, reading text, setting up things, calling guests on the phone while the show's live. You don't see me doing that, but that's what we're doing. Taking a call from a client while the show's on sometimes. So I admire, they're way better at it than I've ever dreamed of being. They're spinning multiple plates. Got one spinning over here, got one over there. These guys are doing this. It's pretty damn impressive. As we wrote in the blog today, we believe that Washington will commit to Tennessee, and it's going to happen. It'll happen by nightfall. How's that sound? By the way, again, that would have been huge news. To Brian's point, it's a footnote now. The other thing that's happened in the sport, and this is the way it ought to be, the freshmen in that sport are getting next to no money outside of the top 5 players. The immense of the world get paid. Pretty much everybody else, even in the top 100, they get negligible money compared to the veteran players on these rosters. It's interesting. It's happened pretty quickly. But we'll go back to the phones. And we'll get our next call in. Hello and welcome. You're on the air.
Tony, it's Rusty.
Hey, Rusty. Welcome in, brother.
Appreciate it, man. Hey, I generally think Dave's awesome because he's passionate and he loves the Vols. Only one time have I ever been upset with him, so I'm all about it. I don't know that we're national champion if we get all those guys quality, but hey, it'll be fun to see. But I will say this: I don't know if anybody's ever seen the movie Shawshank Redemption, but a couple people probably have. The head guard who inherits $30,000, but his first instinct was to complain about all the taxes he'll have to be paying and all the other things wrong with getting it. That's kind of the way Dave lives, and it's okay. But, hey, he loves the Vols.
I know a lot of sports fans that are like that. It's just how they take sports.
Yeah.
It's and hey, who am I to tell anybody how you look at a painting and what you see when you look at the painting, right? We're all different.
I've kicked a hole in drywall during the Tennessee-Texas A&M basketball game back in Conzo year. Yay. We all act a fool.
Wow.
So, hey, whatever. It's all good. I patched it up. Wasn't my house.
You
anyway.
Kicked a hole in somebody else's house?
At my sister's, at Jana's, yeah.
Might be one of my favorite things I've ever heard. We ought to do that one day. Stories about anger and things that happen. Because I saw my father do something crazy one time. He told me, this is in the early days of remote controls. This is probably late 80s. No, it had to be mid-80s. He says to me, if you don't quit changing the channels, I'm going to take that thing and throw it against the wall. And I'm thinking, okay, whatever. And I went, like we do, because you have cable TV and he took that remote, Rusty, threw that thing with all his might against the wall. It put a dent in the wall. I remember picking up buttons and the little cardboards that said like 5, 4, all the different, and he said, put it back together, he told me. And then he said, see what you made me do? See what you made me do?
Should have been messing around, man.
There you go.
Hey, so I want to talk a little bit about the basketball thing and then want to hit on the football stuff. But
yeah,
basketball, something Cinco said yesterday, and I tried to call in, but I was working and whatnot and never got a chance to. But he was talking about will Barnes change? But the truth is Barnes has already changed once. I mean, in 2019, probably his best team at Tennessee, that was an offense-first team. That was a top 5 national offense and a 41 in the country in defense. And that's when he changed and said, we're going to be a lead on defense. And he's shown that he can be an offensive-first coach. We just don't remember it for some reason.
And he did it at Texas, too.
Yeah, he pivoted. Yeah, he did big time. Yeah. Hey, there was a season late there in his Texas run where they played nothing but 2-3 zone. Like Barnes that won't ever do it here. They had a season where they almost were exclusively a 2-3 zone team. So hey, I don't see why he wouldn't change. Now, can he get this offensive team to be a top 15 national defensive team? That's the real question. That's what he hasn't done. He hasn't put together a year where he had an elite on one side and a really daggone good other side of the ball. You know what I mean?
Oh, no question. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, so that's what will be interesting to see about this. I think Dave was right about the fact that we're going to have a bunch of dudes, it sounds like, and chemistry is going to be a real question. Is it like that bunch of dudes at Kentucky last year, or is it that bunch of dudes at Michigan last year?
Yep.
So.
And you don't know. It's kind of like these football teams in this era. Really, you don't know anything till the ball kicks off. You think you know, but you don't know.
Not unless you're Kurt Signetti, who just knows he's going to go out and win because he's so attention to detail.
It's amazing.
Oh, dude, you're right about it. He's sick, man. He's and I mean sick in the utmost respect and compliment.
Amazing.
I'm with you on the portal thing. I am the most anti, and I know a lot of other people I've heard talk about it. I was the most anti 27 is a year guy. But now I'm kind of where we are as a roster. 27 is the year, even though I think it's a much tougher schedule and a much worse scenario in 27 for who we play. But I say just go ahead and give the ball to Faison and play for 27 and let him take every possible lump like the Michigan quarterback did last year and go let him, because he's the guy long term. I know we think and hope George figures it out and gains 30 pounds, but just let Faison go take his lumps this year, and maybe we'll win 6-7 ball games with him, and then 27 could be a really good year under him.
You know, Rusty, I wonder internally, well, obviously if they had a do-over, they would, I don't know. I just don't get why we don't act like a have in the portal under this head coach. I just don't understand that, but that's me.
See what, I didn't love Levitt. I don't.
No. I didn't love Levitt either.
I didn't want to go crazy spending on Levitt.
No, but the kid from Old Dominion, somebody like that, somebody can help you, you know?
Maybe. I mean, we just don't know. None of us knew what the kid coming from Cal going to Indiana was going to do last year. We don't always know.
No.
And maybe Faison is good enough. I don't know. The ideal situation that we all know was Joey to win the court case, and we have a second year under Aguilar to usher in 27 with playing Faison as a redshirt freshman and him getting his action reeled in. That was the best case scenario, but it didn't work out. So now you just go ahead and go give it hell with Faison.
I'll be curious to see, because our head coach, and I appreciate the call, Rusty, thank you, is risk averse. And that's a really good idea, by the way, doing a show on the things we've done during sporting events that you kind of regret. One time we were living in an apartment, and my friend Frank, who's a big Pirates and Steelers fan, shout out to Gary, who's listening to us. Brian, I don't know if you've met Frank. I don't know if you know Frank, but we were at our one-bedroom apartment in West Knoxville, and it was the night that Sid Bream, I want to say, slid in safely to beat the Pirates in that 91, maybe, Bri? Were you too young to remember that, or do you remember that, Bri?
Yeah, it was 92.
92. And the Pirates had one of those great baseball teams. They had all those players. I mean, they had Andy Van Slyke. They had Barry Bonds. They had Bobby Bonilla. They had just a ton of star players. And the Braves just went out and beat them. Playoff series.
The Pirates haven't mattered since.
Yeah, and the Pirates haven't.
They literally have not mattered since.
Yeah. So, man, Frank lost his mind that night and went out and he was drinking something from a glass, but it wasn't like a beer or anything. It was like a Yoo-Hoo or one of those. He went out there in that apartment complex and slammed the bottle down, and glass went everywhere. And we ran. I was like, what are you doing? He goes, I don't know. I just lost my mind. Yeah, I lost my... Just like you do. Just like you do. But we'll go back to the phones.
That's why I watch games alone. For that reason.
Do you ever blow off steam, Brian, when you're watching a game?
Not recently. But in the past, yes, probably.
Back to the phones we go. Somebody said Bonilla was asleep in left field. I don't remember the play, but I do remember Sid Bream comes around third and he scores. And if I'm not mistaken, Sid Bream used to play with the Pirates, which was sort of the cherry on top for that poor Pittsburgh team in that era. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony, Zach.
Hey, Zach.
Guys, Brian.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, I remember that night. It was late. It was my 8th grade year. And, yeah, he ran on Bonilla because I don't think Bo had the biggest arm, but it was a heck of a moment. And my teacher had recorded it on VHS and showed it to us the next morning, too. So that's sign of the time.
That's so nauseating.
Yeah, I know. Well,
that the Braves have ever won anything. I'm just kidding. Those were great years, especially that, because it was like unexpected success, right? The Braves in that era, that was sort of unexpected, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's the Peyton Manning phenomenon. We had Dale Murphy, we traded him, and then the next year we went to the World Series. It's like with T, we won the national championship after Peyton left. So it was, and I still maintain that the Twins Braves World Series is one of the best. I mean, that's not just my opinion, but anyways, I was so I'm looking at ESPN, which I know is probably the most basic site, but it's got Nate as the number 8 overall. Is that kind of what you? With your even better sources?
No, I don't know. I'm just saying they're operating under the premise that he's slid some in the draft. For Nate Ament to consider coming back, he would have to be in that 14 range, 12 to 14 range. If he goes 8, he's leaving.
Yeah, and I was surprised to see, at least just on this ESPN, I was surprised to see him that high over some guys that I thought were like, whoa, he's over this guy. But
yeah, if he's going that high, he gone. OY.
But just real quickly, you talked about hockey, and I'm a hockey fan. You are. I want to thank your team for beating. I can't remember who y'all beat the other night, but it gave the Lightning a home ice. But let me ask you this: do you like home ice? Because in NHL, because all the pressure is on the home team to win that first game.
No, I love being on the road. I
do too.
Always, because then you got one in your pocket. This Flyers team, for whatever reason, all year has played much better on the road than they do at home, and so But I love the concept of going into somebody's building and stealing that first game. And I think that's why the sport, Zach, is so volatile, because these teams are so much more able to win in the other team's building versus NBA series, which pretty much seem to follow the chalk. Hockey is just the most volatile damn thing in the world, man. It's simply a wide open tournament when you get there.
Especially because the road team, the road team for those first two games, all you need to do is get one, and then basically you have home ice, even if you don't. So while I appreciate that, I like the Flyers, man. They are ripping through. They should destroy that Pittsburgh team.
Oh, I don't know about that, but they have a chance to win the series, though, for sure. They really do. That Tampa team all year is so damn good. Tampa-Buffalo will be an incredible final if it comes to that.
I would like. I mean, well, Buffalo kind of beat them good during the regular season, but all that stuff changes. So I just wanted to give you a shout out. And thanks for talking hockey, because nobody around here seems to. But I wish
I love it, Zachy. I love it.
I know you do. It's the I mean, aside from maybe March Madness, you got to win 60. It's 2 months. I know
2 months. 2 months of mania.
I'm in the camp that's like maybe make a 5-game series the first one. I don't know, because that's a lot of hockey. But anyway, so if a man is in that top, because I think Connect was 14 or 15, and
he come back on that. You could talk him back if he thought, if their information was, because what a draft on NBA.com or ESPN.com or The Athletic, that's one thing. Internally, if they get word, and he gets word that hey, this is my fate, he could decide to come back.
Well,
he doesn't have to be in a portal to do it. He could always come back.
And I know there's a couple of guys we're waiting on that are kind of looking at that. Do you think that he knows of a specific team that he's projected to? And if it's not, is it like that? I mean, do you think that he's like, I think I'm... It's just
no idea. No, we haven't heard. And in fact, and I appreciate the call, Zach. In the NBA, there's so much poker that goes on that when you get to draft night, Bri, you know that there's all kinds of trades. There's all kinds of crazy stuff that goes on in the NBA.
Drafting players for another team.
Yeah, you draft a guy and then you flip him immediately.
That's one I've never understood quite.
Yeah. And then for the rights to this guy, we'll take some bad money that you have on this player over here. Just all kinds of. The NBA is a really convoluted, screwed up product. My buddy Darren's reminded me, and he ought to know, that he actually ran on bonds that night, not Bonilla. And come to think about that, I do remember that. I think it was, East 10 said he thinks Nate will go 8-12. Look, if Nate hears that he's going 12, he would have a decision to make. Now, look, you'd still get pretty good guaranteed money there at the back of the lottery, but not like you would as a top 5 pick. If you're picked 12 to 14, you risk being a bus league guy. You do not want to get into that bus league territory. Because once you get into that, once you get into a bus league situation, in the NBA, you just don't want to be there. That's where careers peter out. Let's go back to our phones.
Chase Burns has thrown 5 shutout innings at San Francisco, but the Giants pitcher has thrown a no-hitter so far through 5. No score, 6th inning.
Poor Tony. Poor.
He's got a pitcher throwing a no-no so far today.
Largest screenshot at something Nega Dave wrote. Now, Bride, does this surprise you? She sent this to me out of the chat. I've broken more remote controls than I can count on 2 hands watching Tennessee sports during my lifetime. Does that surprise you, Brian? That psychopath would grab... My father grabbed that remote control. It was a Magnavox television. I'll never forget that. We had this little tiny room we watched TV in, looking back on it. Because houses back then were smaller. And we had 6 kids in that house, and I was like the youngest. And most of my family had already moved out, married, all that stuff. And he said he was like really tired after a day at the Mushroom. He's like, would you just put something on? And I'm over there going, yeah, okay. And I'm probably 15. I'm going like this. He takes that damn remote out of my hand. He throws that thing and makes a guttural scream as he throws it against the wall. And then he looks at me and goes, pick it up. And while I'm picking it up, he says to me, see what you made me do? And as a kid, I'm thinking, how in the world did I make you do? I didn't make you do anything. Now, you think I was going to say that to him? Negatory.
I would have never brought home a C in gym after that.
Negatory.
If it were me.
Let's go back to the phones. So, the thing about the draft is, like Zach's saying here, 8 is a lot different than 10 or 11 in that thing. 8 you're staying. 8 you don't even have a conversation with them. You're 10, 11, 12, you know.
Oh, at 8 you're going.
Yeah.
At 10 or 11 you might stay.
Yeah, and Dalton Connect was like 17. I was so mad at the Sixers the night they didn't take him. So mad at him. And the kid they took, they've now traded, which is the league. That's the league. He's now on Oklahoma City's roster. The kid from Duke who paints his fingernails. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, Jack believes in Christ. I brought a C home in gym. My father looked at my report card, and this was very glib, my dad was. He said, if you want to be a ditch digger, I don't care. Go for it. Because he was like a mushroom grower. He wasn't making fun of ditch diggers. He said, that's what you want to do? He said, I'll tell you this, you're lazy and you can't work with your hands. Very, very confident and still. But he said to me, how do you get a C in gym? And I said, Dad, I forgot to bring my sneakers twice. And he put his hand on my shoulder and he said, don't ever, ever bring home a C in gym ever again. He said to my wife, to my mom, he said, this kid's a moron. He said, we've put 6 of them through school now. He's the first one that's ever brought a C home in gym. Do you know that to this day, I still have like a dream that I've forgotten my sneakers for gym class? Big Dog says he failed. We ought to do a day where we telling ourselves for just stupid things we've done academically. Big Dog says, I failed an online health class because he had the wrong textbook. That's a good feeling. That's a good. Celtic Drew said maybe Brian Rice was onto something with you, Basilio. Actually, he wasn't, because if Brian Rice so arrogantly said about me and Russell Smith, he said, I don't mind those guys. I mean, what did he say, Brian? What was the quote on Twitter he had that night?
Something about they could be digging ditches or something
of that effect. Yeah,
something to that nature.
And Brian is a highly arrogant human being. But my thing is, I look down on no one, like, ever. I don't care how much money you have or don't. I don't care what you do for a living or don't. I look down on no one. I try to live in a way that's pretty judgment free. Now, we might make fun of people that do stupid things on here, like with this Rossini lady and what happened with this guy that she supposedly, her inside source, so to speak. I'll tell you, in our business, I think that goes on a lot more than people think it does. In fact, I know it does. And you know why I know it does? Because these are human beings. And you know why these media companies are hiring some of these people? Because they're very attractive. And you know, I'll give you another little secret. Back in the day in media sales, okay? You know what the salespeople look like of the female persuasion? They're pretty attractive. You know why? Because people want to buy from people that make them feel good. Now, I'm not saying they're doing things with these clients, but I mean, beauty of face and skin counts. Look at me. I mean, you go through life, look at me. I'm beautiful. I mean, have you had that thought? Those of you that are watching on Twitch, and you're seeing me in high definition.
Where's Maury Hanks?
I am attractive. I'm attractive. Do you think that guy that's the coach of the New England Patriots, Bride, do you find him attractive? Because he's looking at you and talking to himself. If you've ever looked at that guy.
He's very smug is what he is.
Very smug.
He comes across that way, always has.
Very.
To me.
Very smug. Chris Justice said, I have a face for radio. I don't think so, man. I think I'm beautiful, personally. Got great dimples. I got a great kind of a charisma about me. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
And you're very modest as well, Tony.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Tony, it's Taylor. Hey, Brian.
Incredible report by you the other day. And by the way, that stuff in the Dominican Republic that you wrote about yesterday on the blog is fascinating, man.
Well, there's a lot of corruption down there, Tony. Back in the day, they're signing these kids at 12 and 13 years old that are highly talented. They're basically saying, drop out of school, come to my camp, I'll train you up, and we'll get you a big major league contract. And, by the way, I'm only going to take half of all your future earnings. Those kids end up with obviously no MLB contract, no job opportunities. The average wage down there is about $700 a month in U.S. dollars. So there's just a lot of, taking advantage. So it's nice to know that there's nonprofits out there like the Baseball Island Foundation that, A, puts education first, B, gives them quality training and supplements with food and a bunch of other stuff, life lessons. So it was very impressive. And plus, my hero, Dale Murphy, supports them, so it's a legit operation. So, yeah, anyway, it was cool. It's fun to get to know those folks and see a class operation and see what some of those kids endure. I mean, Tony, they're literally hitchhiking to get from their shanties to the practice field to the classroom, and there'll be 3 on a little moped. And I'm not exaggerating. It's pretty eye-opening. And guess what? They have huge smiles on their faces. They're very content with what they have, and it's pretty cool to see. But anyway, thank you for that compliment, Tony. This portal thing with Barnes. It's boom or bust, right? Like he's going out. I think he's got another year left, and he's convinced the powers that be to write him all the checks that he needs, which I think is good. But let's face it, he's putting all his chips in, and I think next year is it, right? Whether he goes to the Final Four, wins the Natty, or bust. Do you agree?
No, not when I see him navigate like this. Now, I told Bino, and I don't mean talk with my mouth open, but I'm eating here. I told Bino that, and I can only tell you what's on my mind. This is not for everybody, okay? This is not everybody's style. People are like, why would you say that? Because I say it because it's the way sports fans talk to each other. And that's the way we orient this program. Just like if you were sitting in a barbershop, we're having an uninhibited conversation. Like Taylor says, hey, man, they're spending all their money. And obviously, they're building this team to go all in this year. You know, T.I., here's where I'm at on it. I think the minute he wakes up and that team's no good is when he's going to quit. As long as when they go grocery shopping, they walk out of that supermarket and he knows that meal is going to taste good, I think he keeps cooking for a while. That's my sense of this. The minute that it falls in on them, he's not going to have a stomach for like a rebuild or coaching some middling basketball team.
But Tony, is there any such thing as a rebuild in this NIL portal era? I mean, it's almost reload as long as you have the checkbook. And can you go back to the well for another year to say, hey, I'm going to need another $20 million. This didn't work. A, is he going to be motivated to do that? And then B, are the big donors going to re-up for another year to reload that lineup?
No idea.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'll say this.
Never thought I'd see it, though. Never thought we'd see it, T.
No, it's crazy times. It's like you said, it's unprofessional sports and it's pickup basketball. It would be cool for just continuity purposes for Nate Ament to come back if the stars align and he came back. Do you know? Does he have any relationships with PG1 or any of these signees already? Does he know any of these guys? Has he been involved in the recruiting? Does he have any relationships with the new signees?
You know, I haven't looked that far ahead, but I know one thing: they would be using him. They would be using him to recruit if that were the case. Here's the thing, T. I just think that's kind of a long shot. It's fun to dream about.
Sure.
But this Lumblade guy has really shown me something because he's hanging out and he's staying at a hotel on his own dime, working out in their facility every day, getting to know the returning guys that are coming back, and then he's on the phone or he's Zooming or FaceTiming with all these people they're involved with, all of them, which is pretty interesting. And they've let him do that.
Is that the Notre Dame kid or the...
No, that's a kid from Belmont. That's the shooting guard from Belmont.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. I'd love to see Nate come back just because, A, he's so likable, and you at least have another player who's back from this year's team.
Yes.
We'll see. I don't think Josh wants the smoke and the pressure that comes with having to go to the Haslams of the world and ask for big checks.
Why?
I think he's happy being get 8 wins, 9 wins, get that check, get a renewal, and not having the pressure. Maybe I'm wrong, Tony, but that's the only thing I can think of that would explain why there's no sense of urgency, or at least apparently not a sense of urgency for Heupel to work the big boosters and get those paychecks. I mean, Barnes, he's a dean. He's not afraid of it, right? He's got maybe a year or two, whatever left.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Heupel's got 20 years of coaching potentially left.
Yep.
And you know what? I think he's fine. Hey, you know, the fan base thinks it's going to be a rebuilding year. There's not a whole lot of pressure. But if I go out and ask for big checks and sign some big boys, that big pressure is going to ramp up. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It just doesn't seem like it's in Heupel's nature to A, go glad-handing, and B, I think he's fine, 8 to 9 wins, and, hey, it's a rebuilding year. 27's when it's going to happen. I don't know.
You know what's wild, T? Is you're going to get me screamed at by Bino now because you just said that. So I hope you're happy with yourself. Bino might turn around and slap the living hell out of me for you saying that at the end of today's show.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bino's the takesman. That guy.
He's a takesman.
Anyway, he's interesting and got more good takes, and that guy is smarter than he lets on. Smarter than he looks, that's for sure. Last thing, Tony. Of course, I'm going to talk about baseball on the way out.
Talk about backhand.
Trent Grindlinger, can you imagine two things? If Garrett Wright and Trent Grindlinger would have been in this offensive lineup from day one, I don't know we would have seen the swoon that we have. We may have 3 or 4 more victories, and we may be talking about hosting a regional and certainly a super and being a top 10 program. It is kind of amazing if you think about the what-ifs with those two in the lineup.
It's amazing how one player or two in that manner can affect things. That Grindlinger guy can flat out give you a professional at bat every time he steps into the plate, and he does not look his age because that guy can flat out play.
Yeah, no doubt. He just takes, like you said, a professional approach. Reese Chapman was on record as saying before the Mississippi State series, he just worked consistently on hitting the ball the opposite way, and then obviously came in and did just that with, I think, 3 extra base hits all to the opposite side. I think the other guys, I mean, Manny Marin has been historically pretty much a pull hitter. You saw him do the same thing. There's other players. I think Grindlinger's running is rubbing off on them. They've seen his success, and they said, you know what, I'm going to stop being pull heavy, looking for big exit velocity, swinging for the fences every time up. Those approaches were so much better last weekend, and I hope that continues because Tennessee must win their home series, and they must beat Ole Miss 2 out of 3 if they're going to have any shot of hosting a regional. I'll promise you, they didn't spend $105 million on the new renovated Lindsey Nelson Stadium to play playoff baseball on the road. That's they're not here for that.
Appreciate you, T. Thanks. I thought it was. Thank you. Yeah, same to you. GBO to you. GBO to GBO Nation. As we're about out of here. Bri, you have anything you want to add here on the way out?
I'll talk to you tomorrow, Tone. Got to roll.
Thank you, Bri. Bri likes to be laconic as we get into hour 4. His laconic ways take over. But appreciate you being with us today. Spread the word for us. You know, I noticed in the chat a couple people were like, yeah, I just discovered the blog. Okay, so tclub.team. We put a world-class blog together every day, 24/7 around the clock. Actually, 5 days a week. We have so many great contributors. Byron wrote a really good piece about his journey with golf today and why he admires Rory. You didn't realize East Tennessee State has a 2-time Masters champion? You know he signed there or committed there? Were you aware of that, Rory McIlroy? Anyway, Byron wrote a great piece today. We're doing great stuff on the portal. Orange Throat tomorrow will have some inside stuff. He and I were laughing today. He was telling me about, because he keeps his ear to the ground in the athletic department. People over there cannot believe Danny White's appearance on the morning show on the Sports Animal. They just can't believe that Danny. He's talking about Kim Caldwell like she's on a Pat Summitt trajectory. I mean, we need to come up with a name for Danny because the plumber, I think the plumber's brain has sprung a leak. What is he doing? No offense to him. And look, I'm not like going to cheer against Kim Caldwell. I hope she wins. She's my alma mater. You think you're going to win in this league? Getting those 2 kids from Georgia, those are table scrap players. And putting them, some girl from Stanford that didn't even play? Some girl from Northern Arizona whose team won like 5 games? I mean, is that serious? Are you serious? You realize this is school of Pat Summitt? You realize they fired a coach who went to the Sweet 16? To go further? And this Brian Rice character, who is a professional, no offense to him. Basilio, he's Basilio. I mean, what in the world? No offense to Brian Rice. Everybody's got to sing for their supper. I mean, hell, we play wagon wheel. I'm in mama wagon wheel. And his version of that is Kim Caldwell's gone the late 8, baby. Kim Caldwell, rock me. Elite Eight. Elite Eight. Elite Eight in what? Christmas tournament? How in the hell are you going to go to the Elite Eight with the roster she's putting together? Compare what they're doing to what Barnes is doing. And I'm not like going to sit here and campaign against her or anything like that. I mean, it is what it is. But when your athletic director is out there saying stuff like that, I mean, he does not look serious. Is he serious? Anyway, the Throat's going to get into that tomorrow. Because the Throat has his ear to the ground in what they're saying. And internally, people are just wondering about Danny White. And, you know, I mean, are his oars in the water? Why isn't he more prepared on these radio appearances? You can't say things like that. I mean, you can say things, but you can't say things like that. Anyway, we love you. She's adding scorers, which is very much needed. Solid roster. They don't play any defense there, primetime Vol. Did you watch the games last year? Those little slight kids they're going to throw out there, they won't be able to defend at this level. Come on now. They'll have zero chance. They'll put together a nice little non-league deal, and they'll schedule a bunch of wins and win around 20 games. That's the shittiest basketball I've ever watched in my life. And you have to be honest about that. There is zero defense played on her system. But anyway, solid roster. You got to be freaking kidding me. Till we meet again, I love you. I appreciate you. Peace. Damn, I ripped the Lady Vols at the end. I didn't know I was going to do that. And it's not even about Kim Caldwell. It's just this AD. He's so arrogant. And he's so much better than you. I mean, just admit a mistake, man. Everybody makes them. My wife made 135 years ago with me. It knocks him down a rung. Here's today's show back on the live stream. I'm pretty fired up, focused, and prepared. What's interesting today, ladies and gentlemen, is that a week ago, people were really, really, really blasting Barnes because they're not getting anybody. Michigan's getting this kid. North Carolina's getting, Tennessee's getting everybody they want. How you like those apples? How do you like those apples? How do you like those apples? And so, is that how I started the show today? I sound roached. As a serious operator in the transfer portal. Really, 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 really getting it done. Just a masterclass by the Vols and the way they've been able to maneuver around this thing, and we're going to talk about that. Now, I got to tell you, I'm hearing things because the thing you have to understand about what's going on in the transfer portal right now is the agents are running this thing. Okay? The agents are absolutely running this deal. I wonder sometimes if the kids think that they work for the agents instead of the agents working for the kids. Me and Maury were talking about that today. They're just moving these kids around like chess pieces. I heard a great one this morning from one of my sources about the transfer portal. So there's a big man in the Big 12. Tennessee may or may not be involved with this big man. He's got an assistant coach that if you want to take this kid, you got to give him $500,000. That's the kind of stuff going on. Let me give you the latest and greatest as I know it. And then Mike Monaco is going to join us, who fires me up, focuses me, and prepares me. Matt Diskin has been interfacing with Tony Vitello the last couple of nights. What did, Vitello's Brian Hartman's here. Did Matt Dixon bring Vitello any luck in Cincinnati? In your opinion, Bri?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But he might bring Chase Burns some luck though later this afternoon.
You think if Burns struggles